The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey.
What?
Let's go!
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You ping!
Damn it! Your friend tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Goober Tuesday, January 20th, 2025. This sports program starts now. Football is wonderful, and I'll tell you what, a lot of goobers in football right now, and we'll talk about it all. Obviously, we got some new coaches in new places. We got ownership speaking. We got press conferences. We got magic all around the NFL that we'll be chit-chatting about, and the first word that comes to mind whenever you watch a lot of this stuff is this guy a goober? And the chance is probably going to be yes. That's probably going to be the answer. The toxic table is here. They're not goobers at all. At Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt. Con man, I see the ponytail. I like what you're doing. Way to go. It took a long time to get here.
Funny enough, I sat down and I said, Ty, son of a bitch, I forgot my hat. But, you know, why not? It's a Goober Tuesday. I mean, we are goobers many times, but I feel like I'll just jump in on the goober train. Yeah, you can.
Whoa!
It's kind of a bun. I don't know if it's
warrior.
full pony just yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
You did have a massive mullet flowing for a while, but what people haven't known is that while you've been wearing these hats every day, you've been growing out the sides because you no longer want a mullet. You just want a nice, thick, lion-like flow on top of your head.
Yeah, no, the full mane. You know, that's kind of what we're going here for. But I don't know. Maybe I will go back to a mullet. I do kind of miss it in the mornings. You know, when you have a mullet, your hair's not as messy. Now that I'm growing out the sides, boy, the hair's a little bit of a nightmare kind of dealing with the whole thing. But, yeah, I mean, look at that side profile. Hold the phone. We might have something here, gentlemen.
Yeah, you certainly do. You look great. I'm proud of you, too. A lot of different moments where you could have cut your hair, you could have quit on it. Instead, you stuck with it. Now you're at the moment trying to figure out what you do with it.
Exactly.
And this looks good. I can't wait to see you explore the space of having that long hair. I'm proud of you, buddy.
Hey, thanks, man. Proud of you, too. You battled through Atlanta yesterday.
Yeah, Atlanta was a good time.
Yeah.
Atlanta was a good time. All the stars were out there.
Yeah, they were.
It was cool meeting everybody. Saw a titty boy.
I know.
How about that?
He knows we exist. That's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about that. He had great sunglasses on, obviously. Fantastic. Quavo. Incredibly cool. Go Dogs, he says.
Good
Little
dap.
Baby was there. Great dap with him. And Michael Cole obviously ruins it immediately afterwards. Lil Yachty was there. I mean, all of Atlanta seemingly came out for Monday Night Raw last night. It was electrifying. Lucky to be there. Got a chance to talk. That's Xavier Woods' mom, dad, and sister over there. And then Lil Yachty also. They've turned their backs on the New Day. How could you not? Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, real scumbags right now.
Sad.
Yeah, but maybe there's a chance to get him back to being good humans, but everybody seemingly doubted. And then Michael Cole embarrassed all white people for...
Jeez.
yeah,
one more.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, and the guy in the luchador mask in the back, he brought it all damn day. I appreciate that. See the Pat McAfee jersey over there, too, to the left side? That guy was incredibly kind. As soon as I get there, he's like, I got it. And I'm like... Why, though? They charge you so much for that. I'm so incredibly grateful. What a night in Atlanta. Had a blast. And WWE on Netflix is hilarious. You have no idea what's going to happen out there. Legitimately. Every single time I go to a WWE event, they don't tell me anything that's going to happen. Obviously, that is very apparent as you listen to me speak through the entire show. But you literally have no clue what's going to happen next, and that's why it is so magical. Cannot wait for the Royal Rumble this Saturday here in Indianapolis at beautiful Lucas Oil Stadium. And then Friday, we have SmackDown here in Indy at Gamebridge Fieldhouse. We have a kickoff show. Michael Cole and I will be hosting. I think Thursday and Friday, potentially some WWE legends coming through the Thunderdome. I mean, this is a magical time. The Pro Bowl starts on Thursday night. I mean, although there's only one NFL game left, there's still a lot happening around the sports world. Let's go to one half of the hammer. Dahn. Cowboys, AP Tone. Pittsburgh Steelers ownership is speaking. They basically said we're either taking one or the other, Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. Said it publicly. I think that's to kind of set the tone negotiation-wise, leverage-wise. Hey, you don't like this deal, we'll give it to Justin. You don't like this deal, we'll give it to Russell. How do you feel about what the Pittsburgh Steelers are saying going into next year, especially as we're watching the top of the AFC perform in the last weekend and upcoming weekend?
Yeah, Mr. Rooney spoke yesterday to, I think, 12 local Pittsburgh media pundits, Mark Gaboli being one of them. And he said that he stressed the number one and most important thing is fixing basically the quarterback room or getting the quarterback room correct, which I think everyone can agree with. Since Ben Roethlisberger left, it's been just a rotating pit of dismay, basically.
Okay.
I mean, and you can't obviously.
Not of goobers.
No.
Not a goober.
Well,
Dismay.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at the playoffs. You need a quarterback, and everyone realizes that you have to get a quarterback. Let's address it. Let's go start there, and then let's move forward.
Okay, speaking of quarterbacks that you guys have had, Kenny Pickett played in the NFC Championship.
Yep.
He has played in a championship game much more recently than anybody for the Dallas Cowboys.
Got him.
Or a lot of other teams that are in the NFL. Stephen Jones actually talked about the potential 30-year drought or whatever.
Obviously, we're also evaluating where it didn't go right, in terms of, this drought that people say we're in terms of a championship game or a Super Bowl.
Let's go to 9-year NFL vet Darius J. Butler. People are saying things. Why are they saying that about the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah, I mean, hasn't every other NFC team been to the championship game since the last time the Cowboys have been? I don't know why he threw the air quotes up there, but they are killing Steven on the internet.
Well, I love the fact that he said people are saying this as if it's not a matter of fact. We would always say, like, people were saying to say something. People were saying this. I don't know why people are saying we're in the middle of a drought. Like, we've been there, right? Dad? We've been there? No, dumbass. It's been 30 fucking years, okay? And everybody's coming after me. He said, people think that this is about me, think I'm not willing to step out of my comfort zone. I just hired a guy who never been a fucking coach before. You think I'm not, I'm not scared to take a risk? Dallas Cowboys, obviously, one of the storylines all the time in the NFL. But I appreciate the way Schottenheimer has handled himself. I appreciate the way he said, we're here to win championships. We're here to win. He didn't sound like a goober at all.
Didn't sound like goober.
And I love Shotty.
Yeah.
Legit. So it's been hard to kind of watch the entire world react the way it has for Shotty, because I think a lot of Dallas Cowboys fans wanted them to make a splash hire. And Coach Deion Sanders would have certainly been a massively splash hire. He has connections to the Dallas Cowboys. He's obviously had success now as a Colorado coach. He's Deion Sanders, so anytime he's a part of something, you assume there's going to be a lot of glitz, a lot of glamour, a lot of success. They don't hire that. They don't hire Jason Witten, although it is said, allegedly, from source says around the NFL that Jason Witten will be on the staff and that was a part of the entire conversation for the Dallas Cowboys head coaching job. But hiring Shotty has been something that has pissed off all the Cowboys fans because it wasn't splashy enough. I think they wanted to win a headline. I think I heard Michael Irvin say, hey, it's been 30 years. 40 years is a generation. And people's life expectancy, you said, if you live to 100, that's a long time. So 30% of people's long, long life, if they had to live to 100, has already gone without them having any success at all. They had to win back a generation. Did they do that with the hiring of Schottenheimer? I guess not. With that being said, though, if Shotty wins, that's all that matters. I think he's going to. He has so much life experience in the NFL world, dealing with stars, dealing with people like Jerry Jones, dealing with the NFL, dealing with rules changes, evolving, everything like that. And I know he's only been an assistant coach, but he's the son of a great head coach. He's literally grown up in the buildings. I think he's going to do an okay job. And I think what he did at the press conference was also good. But how can you tell how anybody's going to do?
You can't. We can't. They got a quarterback. They obviously got other great players at premier positions. I hope he wins. We don't know if he's going to win. We don't know if Aaron Glenn. We don't know Liam Cohen. We don't really know what these guys.
Just stick with Shotty right now, please. Just stay with Shotty. We have an entire thing to go to Jacksonville. You just stay with Shotty right now, please. Stay in the Shotty world right now. Okay? Please stay in Shotty.
We don't know what Shotty's going to do yet. as the Dallas Cowboys head coach. You know, you didn't win the hiring cycle with the press conference and all that shit, but we don't know who or what he's going to be in that position, in that role.
I firmly agree that you have no idea what anybody's going to do.
No.
Nick Sirianni, okay, his opening press conference.
Yeah.
Wow, this guy's a big dumb dipshit.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
MCDC up there in Detroit. Wow, this meathead actually eats rocks.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way he's going to win. So, Goober Tuesday. Let's go down to the Jacksonville Jaguars. What county are they in?
Duval.
Okay, all right. So,
Yes.
one more time,
Ask
please.
it again.
One more time.
Duval.
Okay. You know, Liam Cohen, obviously the new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are in the county of
Duval.
This particular takeaway here is tough, okay? Whenever you see this, it's tough. And it's hard not to say, this guy's got no chance to win.
None.
This guy, there's no way anybody's going to take him serious. There's no way any players are going to take him serious. But then I read an article, Liam Cohen talking to Rick Stroud, who's a local beat reporter for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, grew up in Tampa Bay, has covered the Buccaneers for a long time. Liam Cohen talked to him, and obviously the exit of Tampa Bay was what it was. It got a little nasty, it got a little ugly. But he said he was talking to Baker Mayfield, who was in the Bahamas with the offensive line. I believe this is the next, if you go to the next one, please.
Don't have it.
Okay, so he was talking to Baker Mayfield in the offensive line whenever they're down in the Caribbean. And Baker Mayfield was basically like, you got to go take that job. What are you talking about, Liam? You got to go be a head coach. The offensive line were like, hey, you got to go do that. Baker Mayfield loves Liam Cohen. The offensive linemen love Liam Cohen. Mike Evans allegedly loves Liam Cohen. Now, this is Liam Cohen telling Rick Stroud this, but I don't think he would say this publicly unless he was going to get publicly outed by the boys. But it feels like his players enjoy the hell out of him, which is tough to understand, especially whenever we're watching him do all the things that he is doing in this rollout of this press conference. I think he looks like a goober.
Yeah. A little bit.
I think he looks like a goober. He's 39 years old. He's younger. He had some Louis Vuitton slippers on, basically, whenever he got there. He did the Duval thing. And then you look at his coaching history here. Here is all the stops he has had since 2010. Obviously, it's every year there's a change. 2010, he's at Brown. Then he's at Rhode Island. Then he's at Brown. Then he's at Massachusetts. Then he's at Maine. Then he's with the Rams for 2 years. Then he's at Kentucky. Then he's back to the Rams. Then he's back to Kentucky. Then he's at Tampa for a year. Now he's the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So obviously, as a 39-year-old, you're young. You're going to get a head coaching opportunity. People are going to question your experience and your resume. What everybody's questioning about his particular resume is like, damn, does anybody want this guy to stick around, or does he just move on? Is it his decision, or is it the other place's decision? Because whenever he goes Rams, Kentucky, then he's at Tampa for a year. Then obviously they wanted him back. They gave him a contract to make him the highest paid coordinator of all time, they're saying. And then he goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's like, it's hard to not say this guy looks like he's going to suck as a head coach, especially whenever you watch the way he's handling himself in these press conferences. But players at Tampa loved him. LA liked him enough to bring him back twice. Sean McVay, obviously a guy who has had massive success as a young coach. I think from people that have been around Liam say he looks up to Sean McVay a lot. He tries to emulate Sean McVay a lot. So what I'm saying is let's reserve judgment on this guy until we see what his teams look like. But boy, it's hard anytime we see the video of him saying,
Duval.
it's hard to take that guy serious.
No
Conrad.
doubt.
It is hard to take that guy serious, but I think we need to just reserve our judgment just for a little bit to see what he's able to do down there.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you think about like the Kentucky Rams thing, like a few years ago, Kentucky had that kind of crazy run where they actually were a top 25 team. I believe he was the OC during those years. And then with Tampa, even last year, like Chris Godwin goes down, that offense could have easily kind of fell into a slump. Mike Evans also missed a few games with the hamstring. That's why he was pushing for the 1,000 yards at the end of the season. But they still kind of went on a little bit of a run. The Duval thing is going to be real hard. It's going to be tough to come back from that. But you listed a bunch of guys where they do have this opening press conference like, hey, look, I put my foot in my mouth. You know, maybe
I tried.
I was trying to kind of be funny. He has the whole selfie video. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, let's run that one. This one's even. This one's you tag this one with the Duval one, and it's like, thank God, I'm not in this building with this guy. But once again, Baker, offensive lineman, Mike Evans, the people that have had to play for him, allegedly love him. Here's another video that hit the internet from Liam Cohen's first day as a head coach as the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey guys, this is Liam Cohen. Just touched down in Jacksonville.
All right.
Let's get this thing started off right here. 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
No.
That's the social media team's fault, right?
That was a little better.
I mean, it looks like a goober there from the side angle. All the social media videos coming out of these coaches suck. Okay?
Yeah.
And once again, social media teams or people with social media degrees normally don't know ball. They get hired to run social media because people who are running the business are scared of social media, so they hire somebody that's younger that maybe has a social media degree, and they say, you handle it. There is a litany of social media teams that are absolute shite at their job. They know their ass, but they run up numbers, and the teams have no idea. It's not just in the NFL. This is in a lot of businesses. Now, you think about Ben Johnson's social media video, crop. This one, not necessarily the best. But I would like us to once again, because even as we're covering it right now, it's hard not to just jump into the fact and say this guy's going to suck. Mm-hmm. We have no idea if this guy's going to suck or not. And that is the matter of fact about these head coaching cycles.
I mean, I suppose, but I'm going to go ahead and just say this guy is going to suck.
Why?
I'm going to take that stance. You know what? I feel like I'm entitled to do that. I am going to do that. The difference is, like, with Sirianni, yeah, he looked like a moron, but everyone talks about Howie Roseman being, like, one of the best GMs in the NFL. Jeffrey Lurie's one of the best owners in the NFL. So, like, they had just won a Super Bowl not too long. Like, Philly is a team that knows how to win. Dan Campbell, definitely an outlier because Detroit had sucked for a long time, but he's a former player, and he got a bunch of former players on his staff, guys who bought in right away. Like, not only is this guy a big-time goober, obviously, and that's fine. That's not a big deal. Like,
it's Goober Tuesday.
It's Goober Tuesday. There are people who are like that, but we talked about this a little bit before the show. Like, who's he going to get for his staff? Like, this is way late in the process. Like, all the, great OC, DC, like, different position coaches, like, those jobs have been filled. Like, so it's kind of going to be on him. And then on top of that, you're going to get a guy who has 5 years of NFL coaching experience. And again, who knows how much these guys do with Sean McVay, because he is obviously a genius. Like, he's gotten a bunch of people jobs, but I don't know how much he's doing on the day-to-day. Like, that's Sean McVay's offense. Sean McVay's calling the plays. So we're going to go ahead and just give the keys to the goober.
Tampa was good.
Let him hire a GM. He was good at, but hey, you know what? This is a results-oriented bit. It's what have you done for me lately? People, if they go 2-15 next year, how many people are going to be saying, like, yeah, but he got Baker Mayfield to throw 40 touchdowns last year? They're going to bring up the Duval video, and they're going to say, we should have known from day one. This guy was a dipshit, and we should have torn up the contract right after he did this. There's a chance that's going to happen.
No sound.
No sound.
Completely.
But you could hear it. You could hear it.
I mean,
yeah,
in
in your head.
Yeah.
I do hear that.
Yeah, you can hear it.
Duval.
I mean, you can kind of hear
Good pop.
You can hear the groans, almost like, "Oh my God, what have we done?"
Now, the
What have we
Duval
done?
song I heard potentially has a little different rhythm to it
Banger.
than the normal Duval. So I think he was just trying to get acquainted. Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is a man who might have a differing opinion than you, Ty.
Sure.
And maybe he'll have the same thoughts as me, because just like Shoddy, just like Ben Johnson, just like Aaron Glenn, just like anybody that gets hired as a head coach, you have no clue how this person's going to do. They could be the next
He could be.
Lombardi.
There's a chance.
They really could. They could be the next guy fired after 1 year because they're an absolute dipshit. Joining us now, a man who wants to be one of those guys. Face of ESPN, Dan Orlovsky. Dano, we're talking about Goober Tuesday here. Goober, Liam Cohen, the way he kind of debuted as, shout out to you being Brad Pitt, eating in every scene and being able to handle that while also being able to give good takes. We appreciate you in the middle of your lunch break here. Liam Cohen, do you know him? What are your thoughts on him? And Ty says this guy's going to suck, strictly from what happened on social and what he did in the meetings. I don't agree with that, but I do believe there is a chance that all these things that are happening are going to get held over his head until he wins down in Jacksonville, which is not a place that is easy to win at, Dan Orlovsky.
Tongue my beanbag, Ty.
Jeez.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That was Coach Tyree on.
Yeah, I didn't say that.
So
And it's just,
I think I've known Liam for a while now. Liam, I think he's a New England kid, Massachusetts or Rhode Island. We were coming out of school right around the same. Thank God, right around the same time as each other, coming out of high school, near each other, timing wise, and so we were kind of recruited around the same time frame, schools and whatnot. So I had heard of his name for a while, and then he went to UMass, I believe. I obviously went to UConn, so I'd known of him for a while. Then he had a pretty good career. He gets into coaching. I had a couple of Kentucky games when he was the offensive coordinator. I really liked him. I liked the scheme that he had been around. I think his vision on how to marry pass and run were really impressive. Is the way that he formationed and motioned. Obviously, his time with the Rams was impactful. Anybody that's been around Sean, I'm a little bit intrigued by. I've stayed in contact with him throughout the years. When he got to Tampa Bay, I was super fired up for him. Haven't heard nothing but good things. So I do like him. The press conference is unique, the Duval, but I do think he's a super smart dude. I don't know how much of a great leader and galvanizer. I don't know that about him.
okay, how about how he exited Tampa? He said in the Rick Stroud article that he did that time heals all wounds. He thinks that he and Jason and Todd Bowles and everybody at Tampa will be able to move on eventually. He said he just felt differently whenever he went and talked to Shad Khan the second time after Trent Baalke has been removed. And obviously, he gets a chance to help pick the new GM. And I think in that article, he said, Sean McVay didn't even get to do that. Kyle Shanahan got to do that. Sean McVay didn't get to do that. So he thought it was such an incredible opportunity. In this, he says that Baker said he needs to go do it. Offensive lineman said he needs to go do it. Mike Evans likes him. So it's like almost as if everybody that has worked for him or played for him in the last year likes him and is positive, which is something to think about
for sure
if you're Ty Schmidt in this hole. But do you agree with the time healing all wounds and his exit from Tampa? How do you view that as a head coach who would go on to say that honesty is the best policy in a local interview in Jacksonville just yesterday?
Yeah, so there's obviously a lot of stories attached to this one. I saw his wife made a comment on social media in regards to their child and whether sick or whatnot. All I know is this: if all these coaches get into this profession for two things, really, obviously to coach and impact and whatnot, and then have the opportunity to go be a head coach, do it your way, and make a ton of money. And eventually, when that opportunity comes for you, Bobby Slowick last year was getting head coaching interviews. Now he got fired from Houston. So when the opportunity gets presented to you to have that chance, you more than likely take it. The second part is whether Trevor Lawrence has been what he should have been talent-wise or not, he still has a super young and talented quarterback. A lot of coaches never get the opportunity to go be a head coach, let alone do it with a guy that's still really young and still very talented. Now, definitely has to get better and play better and rebuild his confidence. But very few guys get the chance to do that. At some point you got to go and take advantage of all the years that you've put in, and you never know if that opportunity is going to present itself again. My wife, we were just downstairs this morning working out, and she goes, "What do you think about Kellen? Do you think Kellen should go to New Orleans?" And I looked at her like, "Are you out of your mind?" And she's like, "Well, such a good place in Philadelphia, and they got such a good thing going." There's only so many times this door is going to get opened. So if it gets open for you, you got to go take advantage of it again, because the chance, but also the money, there's a real part of that attached to this. So obviously there's a lot of stories and sides about the Tampa Bay situation. I'm sure it'll all clear itself out at some point. And I agree with Liam. I do think at some point time kind of like passes and they are allowed to sit down or able to sit down and talk it all out.
Before we move on to Kelly Moe and any of the other jobs, D-Bud has a question for you.
Yeah, what can we obviously we just saw he had a ton of success. Liam Cohen had a ton of success with Baker Mayfield, him having a career year, got the run game back going in Tampa. What can we expect with Liam Cohen and Trevor Lawrence and this offense going forward in Jacksonville?
Yeah, so I think the overwhelming thing is, and probably not talked about enough, is how much Tampa Bay's offensive line was good this year. So that absolutely has to be a starting point for Jacksonville. They got to get their offensive line better. outside of that, but number one, can he get Brian Thomas Jr. to be used like Mike Evans? The way that they would run their offense through Mike Evans was such a big deal. Mike sometimes by himself. Hey, if Mike's one-on-one, we're throwing it to him. If not, we'll hurt you with a Chris Godwin. It ended up being McMillan opposite. So can Brian Thomas Jr., who will be their second-year receiver at LSU, who is absolutely sensational this year, can he, and I'm not telling everybody he's going to go for 11 straight 1,000-yard seasons, but he was really good this year. So can he kind of be that guy for that? Number two, he comes from Tampa where the run game you mentioned was really a big part because of Bucky Irving and White. They've got Hank Bigsby and ETN. Can those two backs kind of be used in the same way that he used those two backs in Tampa Bay? And then the third thing is, their perimeter screen game was so good in so many different ways, but really like their whole screen game was good. And from a quarterback's perspective, like we love screens. One, we don't have to think. Two, we're almost always guaranteed a completion. Three, if we get it at the right time, we're throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage and it's going for 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 yards. So quarterbacks love that. And they were really good at that in Tampa Bay. Getting more of that for Trevor Lawrence just to rebuild his confidence, I think will be a big deal.
I think they did a joint practice, Tampa and Jacksonville. Cohen talked about this in one of the interviews he did down there yesterday, and he said, while I'm calling plays with our offense, all I hear is a bunch of oohs and ahs on the Jacksonville offense. I went back and watched the film, and they got guys over there, he said. And then he said, BTJ, you can line him up in the slot as well, which makes him very excited in this entire thing. He's also getting potentially $13 million a year. So,
damn.
I mean, that's Ben Johnson.
You got to go take the money when it's there, man.
Shout out to Ben Johnson getting that done out there. Psycho Bunny was founded back in 2005 with a brand vision to create a clothing line that combined classic American sportswear with a modern twist.
Oh,
inspired by the audacious and playful spirit of its namesake, the brand has always catered to confident men who use their bold, elevated style to project the best version of themselves. Thank you for doing that, Dan.
Yeah. Psycho Bunny.
Shout out to you, Psycho Bunny.
Shout out to Psycho Bunny.
Let's talk about New Orleans, okay? You talked about Kelly Moe and your wife chit-chatting about would he want to leave Philly to go do that. We thought Kelly Moe was potentially going to be a Dallas Cowboys head coach. Them still in the playoffs, I think, is a factor in Jerry Jones not wanting to wait around until the Eagles are done. Schottenheimer, who we were with in Indy, we're big fans of. Excited to see how he does down there in Dallas. Can anybody win in Dallas? It's been 30 years. It's been quite a drought. They're giving tours around the practice facility. That might need to stop before you win, nonetheless. Kelly Moe to New Orleans, though. You think it's a real possibility? And what are your thoughts on that New Orleans job as a whole? Because I think McCarthy is potentially going to get that gig as well. There's only been a couple names that have been associated with it. Kelly Moe now, in-person interview. Mike McCarthy, seemingly the guy. How do you feel about that Saints job?
Yeah, I think obviously Kellen's a viable candidate, and so is Mike McCarthy. It's not a great job, if we're being honest. I mean, they're kind of in the world where when they consistently kept kicking the can down the line with a lot of their contracts, they're in that back end of it where they're paying for doing that, and they've got two really good receivers on the perimeter. Obviously, Kamara's a star. There's some good pieces on their offensive line. The quarterback's a massive question mark. I don't know if Derek Carr is going to be there or not. So you got to get a quarterback there if you're going to be Mike McCarthy or Kellen Moore. I think there's some decent pieces on their defensive side, but there's also a lot of older players, and so they're in that world where they're going to have to really quickly here transition. I think whoever gets that job probably goes through a little bit of a bumpy phase for the first year or two when it comes to just roster construction, how much money you have. But I'll tell you this, I was with Kellen for a couple years. Kellen and I competed to be a backup in Detroit for a couple years. He actually texted me last week or 2 weeks ago when I, was really critical of him on TV with some of his game plan. And he said, hey, thanks for the shout out. It's been a fun media week, LOL. So his personality, I think, has grown a lot. Like when I was with him, he was a little bit, reserved, super intelligent. Didn't necessarily like command a room like some guys do in a head coaching role. But I do think it's grown. I look at the text and I say, okay, he's a little bit more comfortable in his skin for him to text me that, and a little bit like a fu to me in many ways. So I think if he's kind of grown in that role, he's super smart, and he's very much so smart enough. And I like the fact that he was in Dallas. I like the fact that he was in LA. I like the fact that he was in Philly, kind of experiencing a lot of different places. I think gives these coaches really good vantage points of what it looks like, what it doesn't look like. And so I'll be rooting for him. I think the world of him.
Okay, so I like that he's texting you. Let's stay in Philadelphia. Has anybody else texted you from there? We shall see.
No, Sirianni hasn't texted me back.
On that note, Ty has a question for you.
Okay, that is interesting to know. Obviously, we heard, the press conference yesterday. It is what it is. Wow. Unfortunately, but and Dan, we give you shit for it, but you obviously weren't the only guy saying stuff. People were killing Sirianni all season long. As you look at the Eagles right now, though, has he kind of eased a lot of those questions or concerns that people had all season, you think, with Philly going into the Super Bowl? And how likely is it, do you think, that the Eagles win the Super Bowl?
I definitely think you have to give him credit for. I think he's grown a lot throughout this season for this team. First 6 weeks of the season, there was a lot of questionable decisions, I would say, or taking points off the board and not taking points in certain situations, or maybe being overly aggressive, at least in my and other people's opinions. And so I think he's really managed the games well. I think he's gotten, a really clear message across to everybody on their team, but specifically Jalen Hurts of, there's a really big formula for them to not lose games. Their margin for error to not lose games is pretty big. They play really high-end defense, both in the ability to take the ball away, but also, one, they stop the run on defense. I'll go to the offense. They're playing offense clip. So as long as they don't give the ball away, they're tough to have to force another team to go beat them. And so maybe that was a little bit lost in the Jalen Hurts conversation, because there were weeks where there were struggles. There's no doubt about it. We can't sugarcoat that. He was really good last week. Even in the midst of those struggles, where maybe the pass game wasn't as crisp as you wanted it to be, or guys weren't as open as I expected them to be, or he wasn't pulling the trigger, wasn't giving the ball away. Okay, and that is a big deal. When you have an offense that pick your poison, you got to stop the run and stop the pass. If you don't give the ball away, you're going to get enough snaps. And then defensively, they stop the run with less people in the box. They don't give up explosive plays, and they take the ball away. So there's a big margin for error of, like, you have to go almost with the Chiefs philosophy-wise, where you got to go be really clean to beat this football team. And I do think his viewpoint of that, and the way that he's got everybody on the team to buy into that, the way he's got Kellen Moore to buy into it, you have to give him credit for. And I think he's grown a lot throughout the season. In that regard, it's one of the reasons why they're obviously in the Super Bowl. I give them a chance, absolutely. Patrick is Patrick, and you got to beat him when it matters the most. But there's no doubt about it that they match up well.
Okay, so let's talk about this particular matchup. And obviously, you and many others were taking shots at Sirianni. He's at his second Super Bowl in 3 years, second Super Bowl in 4 total seasons as a head coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. It's not just you.
I told you that I talked to him during the season. I told you that.
Well, I hope what he said to you is, "Hey, Dan, tongue my beanbag."
Yeah,
I hope that is what he said to you.
I can't believe that dude said that yesterday, man.
Yeah, Coach Sirianni obviously said it. No, but it wasn't just you. It was lower third.
Oh, yeah.
Every single day. It was Nick Sirianni's a big dumb dipshit. Nick Sirianni's the biggest question mark in the NFL. Nick Sirianni should not be able to hold a clipboard. Nick Sirianni should be kicked out of Philadelphia. What other coach would be better in Philadelphia? Any of them. Like, that was every day for like a month and a half. Yeah. 2 months.
By the way, they're 9-1.
Yeah, they were winning. And that was when they were winning they were winning and winning and winning and winning. So it just kind of like fed an entire fan base is saying, this guy is a dipshit. This guy is a dipshit. So whenever he would do things that were, out of pocket, like telling a crowd, hey, I got it under control. Okay, yeah, we did run, little bum. Or when he goes and talks his shit afterwards, it's like, well, you got an entire network, seemingly, not us, ESPN, though, basically saying this guy's an idiot. and then you got them doing those things, but they're still winning. It's like, how did we get here almost? And a lot of people said, oh, it's because Dan Orlovsky wants his job. That is what people, because his family going back to Philadelphia.
Loves it.
Dan
Trust me, that is not the case.
Oh, okay.
Not the case.
Okay. No, but that was a thing. You guys seemingly had it out for him for a long time.
Well, I think, I'll give you my perspective. My vantage point of it was obviously the way the season ended last year was, not good for them. And then you heard a lot of the reports, and then there was at least reports of, the disconnect between him and Jalen. And, it's by all accounts, it was getting said by multiple people that were pretty connected to the situation, I guess. And so you take that all in. And then at the beginning of the season, they did not look dominant. Everyone knew this roster was one of the, if not the best in football. But then you go to, the Saints game when they kind of sneak by a little bit on a late play. I think you go to the Jacksonville game when there was some question marks at that, the Cleveland game. And so you're watching a team that you knew was super talented, not control games the way that they have on really the back half of the season, not dominate the way that they have at the back half of the season. And so that, probably made an overreaction, certainly from my end in regards to it. I've said probably one of the misses I've had this year was not valuing how important A.J. Brown was to them, because A.J. was missing in some of those games and the offense didn't look good. And you're like, why don't you guys look and play better? And you're squeaking by. And so I think that is a little bit of part of it. It was like they had such high expectations because they were so talented, and it wasn't happening the way that at least I wanted it to look early in the year, but he's absolutely galvanized it for sure.
Got it, utilized it, bunker mentality, and it's the NFL. It's hard to win games. The other team's on scholarship too. That's the way it goes. Let's talk about a team that didn't look great all year. Chiefs. They didn't look great all year. They didn't have, the most dominating victories. They still had the best record in football, home field advantage through the AFC. Now they're back to a Super Bowl. Everything they said they were going to do, they have done, but they haven't looked the part all year, even though they were getting dubs. Didn't hear you burying them, but they've won back-to-back Super Bowls, so obviously their resume is a little bit different than what the Philadelphia Eagles is. How do you feel about this particular Chiefs team who are coming off their best offensive performance by far in the AFC Championship against the Buffalo Bills?
Yeah, I mean, they're as good of big situation football team that I think we've had since the Patriots. And when the philosophy, or at least like the culture of their football teams, seems to be every play is a championship play. And everybody knows that when their role is called upon, you have to treat it like it's a championship role. Juju Smith-Schuster comes out and has a couple of big plays, and you're like, wait, Juju's balling? And then Xavier Worthy comes out, and they've used Xavier Worthy like Rashee Rice, and all of a sudden Xavier Worthy's balling in the AFC Championship game. Justin Watson catches a 2-point conversion. You've got Kareem Hunt was on his couch 4 months ago. Now he's averaging 4 yards a carry in the AFC title game and just getting them tough yards. So many different people impacted the game, and you might walk away and go like, oh, they only had 2 or 3 plays, but those 2 or 3 plays were huge. Hop, George Karlaftis, so Wharton. It's wild to see how a football team has so many different people that they know. Like, listen, this play in first quarter with 9 minutes to go is a championship play. You guys know, you don't know what play is going to be the one that springs this type of scoring drive or shuts down this scoring drive, and you're going to end up by Justin Reed's 2-point stop on the quarterback sneak. Ridiculous. Chris Jones on the 2-point stop, the second attempt where Josh throws it. He dominates the guard. So every guy just seems to step up. I mean, Shamaje Perine on 3rd and 9 catches the game-sealing AFC Championship reception. What? So I just think it's wildly impressive. But I think that they're really situated. I think that they understand. Like, if you watch the start of the game, well, one of the things that stood out was how many RPOs they ran on offense. And for me, that told me they very clearly want to get off to a not bad start, just a clean start. They don't need to go take the lead 14. They just want to play clean, get the game to the fourth quarter. Because when you're calling RPOs as an offense versus a zone-centric defense, we're just trying to get 3 or 4 yards, make sure we're getting a 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 at worst. And so it was a clarity of, as long as we start clean in this game, because that's not what they did up in Buffalo. As long as they start clean, they believed that the game would be a late fourth quarter game, and they did that.
Well, that's kind of what the Bills-Chiefs has been.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, I'm bummed out. I'm bummed out for that guy. He's got great hair right now, too. But all these stats are coming out. He plays great.
It's insane.
9 touchdowns, no turnovers, 4 sacks against, Kansas City Chiefs. He somehow finds Dalton Kincaid whenever they bring a corner blitz. He has to scramble. Hail Mary, you think, Josh had a guy he wanted to find. Dalton Kincaid, torn PCL in his knee, maybe not as fast as he had wanted to be able to get back to that ball. Hits him in the hands, has to make the play. We get it. Not able to do it. The Chiefs win, but it's like Josh Allen not being able to get over the Chiefs hump when not a lot of people have been able to get over the Chiefs hump is certainly going to be the thing that's going to, just kind of weigh and sit over him for his entire career.
Can I touch on that 4th and 5 a little bit real quickly? Because I have obviously seen a lot of people make conversations and comments about it. I'm so tired of people, and I say this with all due respect, and I wasn't in it in this moment. I wasn't. I've never been in that moment, nor nearly as good. I'm so tired of people talking about, well, he could have done this. Okay? If you've never done it in that moment, you can't sit here and say we should have done
Shakir
this.
Over here. Shakir,
it's an easy ball, Dan. He's wide open.
What are you talking about?
Anybody could have made that pass.
I've seen so many people being like, well, he could have done this or should have done this. Guys, first of all, you come out of the 2-minute, you're on the road. There's only so many cadences that you can utilize on the road before the ball is going to get snapped. Being at home, it's a different conversation. You can dummy cadence 4 or 5 different times, and then there could be a trigger word that notifies everybody we're live here. On the road, it's a lot harder unless it's who you are. Like Peyton Manning and the Colts, they could have done 6 or 6. See Josh's leg kick right there? You only have 2 or 3 versions of that before, hey, the defense knows ball's going to get snapped here pretty soon. So everyone's saying, well, he could have just redirected the protection. One, this was the only time they did it in this game. They showed this look a couple different times in this game. They didn't do it. I understand it's who Spags is. But you sitting there thinking you know exactly what the defense is going to do and you're going to change the protection in one leg kick, I think is absolutely disingenuous to how hard it is to play that position. Okay? At some point, the defense eats 2, and you tip your hat to the defense. Do I wish that they would have talked about it more on the sideline for sure, okay? But to sit here and say, well, he could have just redirected the protection and sent everybody and red hot off the defensive end on 4th and 5 with the season online. Get ball.
From the beginning.
So I wanted to kind of get that off my chest. I don't know what the way to get past them is. You got to play perfect. You got to try to get them to Buffalo and play perfect.
I heard some Bills fans say, "Get McDermott the hell out of here."
Oh yeah, a lot of that.
A lot of
that.
Yeah, send him back.
A lot of that. Grass isn't always
green. That's outrageous.
Hey, what county is Jacksonville? Could you imagine getting rid of Sean McDermott and then all of a sudden you hire the new guy and he comes in here and he does this?
Duval.
Yeah, okay. The grass isn't always greener, and you need to talk to Liam about that situation.
Very white. Very white.
I would say the whitest.
Yep.
I would say that is the whitest. But, hey, he's got a great history of calling plays well.
That's right.
So can't judge him off of that. But Bills fans, I understand your struggles. I understand why you're mad. We've had a GM for 8 years, 9 years here in Indianapolis. We haven't won, and we still got him. And everybody's like, what are we doing? And with Josh Allen, we should be winning and winning and winning. The choices aren't always what you think it is. Now, granted, is an offensive-minded coach with Josh Allen something that would make you happier potentially? But Sean McDermott, they win up there. This is like the 3rd iteration of that roster, and they're winning, and they're winning, and they're winning. It's just Patrick Mahomes and Chiefs.
Dude, I would tell you this,
really,
I would tell you, changing the head coach is, I think, preposterous. And this is a defense that, and they know this, they got to add a difference maker or 2 on their back end. Their back 7. They, outside of Taryn's really good. They're nickel. Rasul Douglas, pretty darn good player. But they don't have a difference maker in the back end. Like Kansas City's got 2 of them, Justin Reed and Trent McDuffie. outside of, 2 or 3 other really good players. Obviously, Marlon Humphrey and Kyle Hamilton, Wiggins looks good. Like, I think Buffalo, if you're going to ask how they figure it out, they got to get a difference maker or two on their back end that's really going to help them. I think they need to add a perimeter piece. That's a game changer. I'm not saying Buffalo's got to go get T. Higgins as like the number 1 wide receiver, but I do think adding a dynamic perimeter player enhances their offense even more. And I think that they got to try to make Kansas City go there and then play their best game of the season.
Well,
Kansas
City did that last year, and that's what the Bills fans say. We had them at home, we have them on the road, we have them every time, we don't beat them. We beat them when it doesn't matter, and then when it does matter, we can't beat them. It's like, that might just be the story. And remember, that doesn't mean it's over. Josh Allen's still young. There's going to come a time, we assume, that Josh Allen and these Bills break through.
Oh, yeah.
But Patrick Mahomes is going to delay that as long as possible. Let's get away from the Super Bowl. Let's talk about some of these hirings. Let's go to the Detroit team that underwhelmed their fans this year for the first time ever. Go ahead, Dahn, man.
Yeah, Dan, I wouldn't be Goober Tuesday without talking to you, but John Morton going to Detroit to be the OCs coming from Denver. How do you feel about this hire, and is this something that's going to be able to continue for Detroit with this hiring for their offense to remain explosive?
Yeah, I don't know a ton about John Morton. I trust Dan Campbell. I don't know I think he's been a part of Detroit in the past. I was never there with them, but losing Ben Johnson is significant. I mean, no mistake. Like he's one of the best play callers, play designers in the league. So, I like the fact that Morton is with Sean Payton, obviously a brilliant offensive mind. There's a lot of people that say Dan Campbell had a lot of impact on how things went offensively in Detroit, sometimes play design, play call. So as long as Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes are there, I still trust and they've earned the benefit of the doubt. I also say this, like the players are still there. This is still one of the best offensive lines in football. They still have a ton of really good pieces on the perimeter, and Jared Goff is still there. So offensively, I think that I don't want to say that they're not going to skip a beat because you have to see what kind of play caller this guy is and play designer, but you still have the pieces that are necessary for that. Defensively, Aiden coming back is a big deal. I know Kelvin Shepard steps in for Aaron Glenn. Historically, it doesn't bode well for a team having to replace both coordinators. The silver lining is the players are still there. They're not going to lose much in free agency, at least impactful guys. And the second part is the people that brought those players in, specifically Brad Holmes, his front office, and Dan Campbell, those guys are still there. So as quickly as they did this rebuild over the course of, kind of took 2 years, and they've had 2 years of, being at the top of the mountain, it seems like. I don't think that there's this massive step back. We talked about it with Philadelphia last year, having replaced both coordinators. Things fall apart at the end of the season, and here they are back in the Super Bowl. So it's not like it's impossible to not really skip a beat over a long period of time.
And you would assume they won't get the injury bug like they did this year. That's going to be...
It can't get much worse than this year.
I mean, every starter on defense basically got
Hutch,
hurt.
McNeil, Carlton Davis, you name it.
First play of the divisional round, Meek Robertson, he broke his arm, shattered his arm.
So you would assume that the injury bug won't hit you guys the way it did this past year, but... You never know. It's football, baby.
Exactly. It's football.
And I like the fact that Kelvin Shepard stayed within the building. They hire within the building. So you talk about same players, probably same scheme, too. A lot of the same shit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Aaron Glenn, who goes over to New York. Here's him yesterday being asked, about the quarterback of the New York Jets, in Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron, what will your process be like? Will you go meet with Aaron? I know you guys
We've already texted Aaron, and me and Moose are going to sit there and we're going to watch every game tape there is. And then we're going to look at the whole roster. This thing is not about Aaron Rodgers, folks. This is about the roster. And we plan on building the best roster that we can. So whatever that may be, guard, tackle, defensive tackle, that's what we're evaluating. And listen, everybody's under the microscope. That's just what it is. So we're going to do the best we can to make sure we build the best roster.
Okay, and then he would also say what he wants in a quarterback is just a winner. That's all I care about. And then he also said, I'm not going to give you I don't have an answer for you. Okay, everybody's being evaluated. What do you think about Aaron Glenn as the head coach of the Jets, former player there, understand the situation? Woody Johnson said he looked in the mirror and said, maybe I got to be a little bit better owner.
Yeah.
I think that's a big deal.
I like that.
I like that as well. I think that's good news, especially with everything that's been said about that particular operation, with how he kind of goes about doing whatever the hell he does with his kid and everything like that. Aaron Glenn might be the right guy to restore some, New York Jets toughness. And he even said in there, we're the New York Jets. We're built for this shit. It feels like he's proud to be there. What do you think it is with Aaron Rodgers that he's looking for? And what do you think he's looking for in his team as a whole, Dan?
His press conference felt like it was Rex Ryan all over again when Rex took them to multiple AFC Championships games. Just like the bravado, the moxie, the edge, the swagger, the confidence, the unapologetic, the pride that you're talking about that is very unique when you're an ex-player for an organization and team. So it felt like that Rex mentality of we're coming after you rather than we're just going to try and slowly do this the right way. And so I appreciated that out of Aaron Glenn. I've said this. I love the fact that he's been a part of a rebuild because, you get to have the day-to-day, you get to experience the day-to-day stuff of what does it sound like? What does it look like? How do the conversations go? What's the chain of command? How did the alignment work? How was the disagreement handled? How was the conflict handled? How did they handle the draft and the preseason? And so the fact that he got to witness that firsthand, because that's a little bit of what needs to happen in New York, maybe not to the extreme that it was in Detroit. I love the fact of that. In regards to Aaron Rodgers and really their quarterback position, I think the starting point is, one, having the conversation of having Aaron Rodgers back, I do believe is the starting point. Aaron Rodgers played winning football for the last 10 games of the season. The last 10 games of the season, I believe 18 touchdowns and 4 picks once he got healthy. That's winning football, okay? I understand that there's stuff that comes with Aaron off the field and, locker room and all that. You got it. He's a guy that has been around the league for a long time. He does want some familiarity with the people that are with him. And so that is something that those people within that organization have to have the conversation of, are you going to come back if Devontae's not there, Alan Lazard's not there, some of the people that are, off the field, high-end friendships of his, I don't know what his answer would be in that, but I do believe on the field, he played winning football. I'd also say this, dude. Even if Aaron comes back, if there's a guy in the first round that you like, I would highly encourage the Jets to take him.
Agreed.
You got to take him because, dude, you're in a division with Josh and obviously Buffalo, juggernaut, Tua and Mike McDaniel. They're going to play well as long as Tua stays healthy. And then the third thing is Drake May with Vrabel. So you're not going to matter unless you get a quarterback. And even if Aaron comes back and plays another year or two at the max, you really have to find a quarterback early. All these people sit there and say, draft a guy in the 3rd or 4th round. Find a quarterback early that you believe has the talent to be a win because of guy, and you draft him.
Okay, and I think Aaron has come out and said he's completely cool with that. Now, Aaron has not decided whether or not he wants to play football again.
Right.
I think this last year has taken a lot out of him. Obviously, the last couple years has taken a lot out of him. He said he's open to anything, attached to nothing. I think he loved playing ball at the end of the year, though.
Yeah.
I think that's why you saw him do the things he was doing, running, throwing, everything like that. I've not chatted with him about his decision on whether or not he wants to play. I know that is something that the Aaron Glenn-led New York Jets have reached out to him and said, hey, do you want to play? And then let's kind of figure this whole thing out. But being a mentor, I don't think he is, a stranger to that. If you watch Enigma, and they break down the entire him and Jordan Love, Matt LaFleur process about how, obviously it wasn't what he expected. He didn't think that was going to happen. But he also didn't want Jordan to have the same experience he had with Brett Favre. So he puts his pride to the side, puts his ego to the side, and any question Jordan had, he answered. Any room, any invite, any hangout, he always had Jordan Love there. I think that would be something he would take a lot of pride in, especially with the New York Jets organization, and maybe get a chance to run it again. I assumed that he would not be with the Jets next year. I assumed that he would be kind of a free agent, still playing ball, because once again, at the end of the year, he looked so good. He looked like young Aaron again. Maybe his Achilles fully came back. He is fully confident with his body, but I assumed it wasn't going to be with the Jets. Now, kind of listening to it, I'm like, maybe. Yeah. Maybe he is back with the Jets. Why not if you're Aaron Glenn? Have a veteran in there, get a young guy you could teach, and let's talk about the young guy now that you could potentially teach. Let's talk about this draft class. Have you done film study on this draft class? I know Shador, Cam, you haven't yet. Okay, so Shador and Cam Ward are the conversation. One generational, one legendary. Okay, they're working out together down there in Dallas. Cannot wait to see the content that comes out of that. Nobody's talking about Will Howard as a first rounder. Me personally, 6'4", 240, a lot of moxie, winner, can move, can throw. I think he could potentially be a guy. Is any guy going to be a guy? We don't know. I think Will Howard could be a guy. I mean, that's, I guess, on him to figure out. That Dr. Pepper commercial scared me a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
That Dr. Pepper commercial scared me a little bit on social. But what are your thoughts on this draft class? Have you looked into it? And how do you think it kind of goes for them? Do you still think, like most draft classes, quarterbacks 1, 2 because teams are so needy? Or how do you see it working out?
So the draft class I haven't dove into. I do not believe that you're going to get the high-end talent that we saw of this past year's draft class. I think Cam Ward is physically really impressive, but has a lot to his game, like super good with the touch of the football and anticipating windows. His game in that regard reminds me a little bit of Tua, where sometimes he floats the ball over the middle of the field in between 2 or 3 guys, and you're like, man, that looks like just like Tua. The difference is, I feel that's a little bit unrealistic in the NFL. D. Butt would know this. There's not a ton of times where a quarterback kind of floats a ball in between that numbers and hash area over the course of 4 quarters, and it feels like it's 15 feet off the ground, and you're like watching it. But it happened a lot in college for him. So you do like that. I think Tua has grown to drive the ball a little bit more into some of those windows, but I do like that part about his game. I got to study him. Shador's timing, and you can tell he's in ways like almost robotic in a good way, programmed in a good way, where the repetition of his feet and his throwing motion and his timing and the way that he keeps his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage, he doesn't have a lot of wasted movement. Shador is like a tactician in that regard. Shador is not physically a wow kid. You know, usually with that early draft pick, you're drafting off wow, and so he's not that, but the style of play that he has is pretty darn impressive. I think I would claim that is a little bit of a wow more than the physical traits. But then I think that middle class of quarterbacks is probably the one that's even more intriguing this year. If you take Jalen Milroe from Alabama, and I know that there were downs. Of
Small
course there were.
hands. Small hands. They're saying he's got carny hands.
Yeah, I have no idea about that. All I know is he is a physical phenom.
Carny, like a carny?
Phenom.
Because you got to be able to get your hands in those little holes.
Yeah, that's cheating.
You go
First
see
year
him.
of an offense, carny hands. I don't know.
Go see the man with the tiny hands.
Yes, exactly. That is also possible. Yeah, but
Donner's got little hands for sure, right?
But
Size 8
actually,
shoe.
we did actually measure these, like, I think a year ago or 2 years ago. They're bigger than Jalen Milroe's.
Yeah, I think our entire office got bigger mitts than Jalen Milroe. So that just came out today from the Senior Bowl. 8'6" or something like that, which is tiny. 9 inches, I guess, is normally the cutoff in this entire thing. Hey,
Interesting. But he's physically talented, dude. Like, he's, physically talented, and also some of the stuff last year with the first year of the offense. But I think there's a lot that you have to be intrigued by with his physical talent. And then you think about Quinn Ewers, won a ton of games in college football. He is really natural as a thrower of the football. Again, I got to study these guys. I've always wanted the production to match the physical ability. It hasn't consistently, so I got to figure that out for him. I would say Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss is super interesting because
Apple disagrees.
Yeah, no, thumbs down.
How did that happen?
Well, it's because you're talking about guys that Apple doesn't agree with.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart, Quinn Ewers are saying.
Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss. Will
Howard.
Kyle McCord. McCord out of Syracuse.
Once again, Will Howard knocked it. Exactly.
Boom. Nope.
Exactly. That's what's happening. All right, we got a heart out here. Once you do all the film, we will appreciate to hear your thoughts. Will Howard, bro.
Yes, sir.
6'4", 240. Winner.
I'll watch him. I'll study him. He was awesome in the title game.
All of the playoff games. Beloved by his teammates, too, which I think is a massive ordeal.
6'4", 240?
Yes, he's massive, and he runs. He got tackled by the 20-yard line, but he can move, just like you. We appreciate the hell out of you. Ladies and gentlemen, are you going to the Pro Bowl games again?
I'm going tonight.
Go fucking.
Don't embarrass
Do it.
me.
Thursday.
Hey, D-Butt, dude, we're supposed to be boys.
All right, ladies
I
and
said
gentlemen.
don't embarrass the guys again.
All right, yeah, that was a compliment.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
Yeah,
myself.
all right, everybody's
Bad
coming
guy,
at you.
D-Butt.
Hey, tongue of beanbag,
Bad
pal.
guy.
We'll be back on the next side.
Belle Sessions, who got here at 3 a.m. this morning, was the winner. Her ticket was pulled, and you thought to yourself immediately, what, Belle?
I knew I couldn't do it, and he was next to me, and he said that he could, so we're splitting it.
Okay, so Belle Sessions made the decision to talk to my man, Henry Silver, who been... Henry got here yesterday at 6 p.m. He's been waiting for this moment. Now, Henry, you told her that you could make it. Why do you think that's the case? Have you ever kicked a ball before?
I've kicked a ball before. I've played soccer my whole life. I think I can do it.
This kick is for $150,000. You said you would split it in half, right? Yes, sir. Okay, so let's make it $200,000. If you make it, you will both get $100,000. Where are you from, Henry?
I'm from Fishers, Indiana.
Who's your favorite NFL team?
The Colts?
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Come on, bro. Hell yeah. To hell with the Falcons. That was rude. They didn't deserve that. I like that. Henry, 33 yards, $100,000 for you, $100,000 for her, $200,000 to hurricane relief, $400,000 on the line. Henry, are you ready?
Of course.
Have you ever said anything bad about kickers?
Of course.
Shut up. Let's go. Now, here in Athens, Georgia, it would be beautiful if $400,000 would be up for grabs. Why don't we double it because the Georgia Bulldogs? So, $800,000 kick right here, Henry. But what I want to let you know is you're not getting a second opportunity. I don't care if this entire place starts chanting for a second kick. One kick, 800,000 racks, 400,000 to hurricane relief, 400,000 to you two split, 200 grand each. Henry Silver from Indiana for Bell Sessions. Let's go, Henry! Oh, my... Henry! Henry! Come in, buddy! Come in! Let me see this. Let me see this, Henry. That was amazing. I mean, he walked in like, Henry! Congratulations, Henry! Congratulations, Bell! Dude! Congratulations, Georgia! What a morning! College game day's the greatest! College football's amazing! Bell, you just won $200,000.
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey.
What?
Let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pig!
Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Goober Tuesday, January 28th, 2025. Hour 2 of the program starts right now. Football is wonderful. We're so incredibly lucky that we get to talk about it every single day. We are a group of men who are living the dumbest lives of all time, and we can't thank you enough for allowing us to do this for a living. It's not just me, obviously. It's the Toxic Table at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. Ty, how about Connor's hair?
It's unbelievable. It's I mean, it almost looks like a samurai. A little bit.
Wow.
It's got the, like the samurai pony, half pony. We did talk about the other day. I would like to see a top knot.
Yeah.
I would like to see a top knot.
Yeah, we'd like to see a top knot with a little bit of a flow down on the bottom.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been as open to our requests with his hair. I think he's kind of just new to the whole stage. But we're excited to see you get comfortable with the flow that you have right now.
Well, pony is so much different. You know, like the bun I feel like I've done before. An actual ponytail I think is a much different story. But I could try it. The top bun I think will come in time. The hair on the sides isn't long enough just yet for like a prime top bun with the back flow.
One half of the hammer, Dahn, Cowboys AP Tone, whose hair underneath that cowboy hat.
Holy
also sick.
Great.
He's looking great right now. I thought it was going to debut actually on the show today.
No, we're in a middle phase here of what we're trying to get to. I'll be honest, Connor though, it's kind of intimidating. I look at him like, and I wouldn't want to fight him right now. Like you put your hair back like that.
Yeah?
Yeah, because you could wield a sword. You could dual wield guns for sure.
It's not what my uncles say about the bun. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it's complete opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bingo.
I could hear that. Yeah, Tim McAfee probably uttered some words through here this morning.
Not my thoughts, brother.
But I appreciate that Tone feels that way. Tone, sweet fit today.
Thank you.
I do like
I walked into Abercrombie the other day, picked this out. Not the Abercrombie that I'm used to, but here we are.
Yeah, Abercrombie & Fitch is now like a Goodwill store with antiques and shit.
A lot of retro stuff.
Not priced the same, but yeah.
What do you mean?
Jack those things up.
It's always been expensive, brother.
Is that a Sunday red type pricing operation?
Dude, all those stores are. I ain't ever going back to them all.
Well, it's inflation, brother. You know, all these prices are through the roof, and hopefully we need to get that under control.
Seriously, man.
We need to get that under control.
Now.
Right yesterday.
Immediately.
I need that yesterday. You got the players on, obviously, golf fan.
Yeah.
Last night was another episode
Barn
of
burner,
TGL. Okay,
Yeah.
what were your thoughts on it?
Tigers team came out. It was we finally got one where it was close, so it was actually kind of exciting. Tiger first ever delay of game in his own league, got the first ever delay of game. That was exciting. Dropped the hammer on Rory a couple of times, and then Tom Kim just absolutely stole the show.
I saw him make a par putt, for, like a 5-foot par putt. It was a big deal.
Yes, split the hole, halved it. That was massive.
Saw him celebrate, saw him do one of these.
Went to overtime.
I like that. Started at 6:30.
Yeah.
Earlier tip-off
Yeah.
time.
Yep.
It feels like they've been experimenting with the start time.
Yeah, it was at like
Because there was a 10 o'clock one, there was an 11, there was a 6:30, there was a 7:30. I like it. They're trying to figure it out.
Okay, yeah.
Overtime was just chipping the ball onto the green. That's all it was.
Correct. Closest to.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to say it like that.
Okay.
Close to the pin, not bad.
No, it was awesome.
I mean, maybe we try and get it in the hole, but
Who won? Jupiter?
Yeah,
Yes.
Jupiter Links.
Yes.
Yep.
First one.
Yeah, it was a tough loss.
Congratulations to Tiger and Jupiter.
Almost
Maybe
had a hole
Boston.
in one last night as well.
Really? By who?
Tom Kim.
Yeah.
Tom Kim is the star of the TGL.
Okay, did they do more talkie-talkie from the golfers or less talkie-talkie from the golfers?
I think
Less. They stopped being goofballs. They started being competitors.
I agree.
Well, it was a
I
competitive
agree.
situation.
Matt Berry did say, he tweeted and I apologize for my voice. It's just.
You were screaming at TGL
Yeah,
on
I was.
And Monday Night Raw on
and
Netflix.
Monday, and pretty much everything on last night. But he said he went into both locker rooms pregame, and he said something just felt different. The attitude was different. Both these guys seemed like they were saying "fuck you, I want to beat you." He said he got that. He got
Matt
that
said that?
Yeah, well, he said it in his tweet. He didn't say it on the air, but he said it just felt last night like these guys wanted to compete. They wanted to win, and we haven't really had that yet.
Yeah, I agree. There hasn't really been a good competitive battle.
No.
I think it's because a lot of the pitch has been, we're going to showcase these golfers and how zany they are.
For sure.
So guys aren't as locked in. They're trying to be like, an entertaining part of the entire thing, as opposed to being golfers, which is what we're there to look for. Matt Berry had to carry it a lot more last night, I assume?
Yeah.
How'd he do?
I mean, Matt Berry's solid. He's out there. I would like to, we've said it, I would like it to be a two-man booth so he doesn't have to carry so much water. But he's doing great.
9-year NFL vet Darius J. Butler is here. That arena looks sweet.
Yeah, the arena was great. Had Drake May was there, Big Poppy was there. He dropped some of his classic lines. But yeah, like Foxy said, like everybody said, like the competitiveness of it. And hearing them kind of on the hot mics, you can hear them talking about how nervous they were too. Even compared to big time golfing events, they were super nervous when they got in there with the crowd in there. It was dope, man. We've been waiting for a close match. Finally got a close match. Got it overtime, but it was and obviously Jupiter pulled it out.
New sport happening right in front of our eyes. Hopefully it's able to maintain. We will obviously be pulling for it to be successful, because we're only one football game away from the offseason.
Stop.
Yeah.
Wow.
One.
No, we got the Pro Bowl games on Thursday and Sunday.
You're right. Dan Orlovsky will do the quarterback carousel. That'll entertain us. But TGL being good would be great. So I'm happy they're kind of working through it to figure that whole thing out. We don't need the golfers being goofballs. We need them golfing. We'll let everybody else kind of do the entertainment part of it all. And us watching them do sweet shit will be good enough for all of us. The NBA's happening. Celtics still doing well?
Celtics have not been doing well, but the NBA is crushing right now. Jimmy Butler, though, I mean, what the hell, man? The guy just doesn't want to play basketball anymore for Miami. He's out of town.
Yeah, he just walked out of a walkthrough yesterday morning whenever he was told he's not going to start anymore. His third suspension in about 2 weeks. He's suspended indefinitely. Trade deadline February 6th, so that is fastly approaching for all teams. I got a chance to talk to the Atlanta Hawks owner last night a little bit about the ins and outs. Shout out to Steve Koonin, absolute legend.
Yeah.
absolute legend. You go through what he did to get to where he is now. You're talking about an American dream story, working his ass off from being a sales rep all the way up to now a man who owns the Atlanta Hawks, amongst other things down in Atlanta. Good dude, great to catch up with him in Atlanta. And he was chit-chatting about like the ripple effects of all these things. I just thought like luxury tax, you just pay it and then you just keep it moving. There's a lot of other things if you're way over and you have to pay luxury tax about like to kind of prohibit or at least restrain you from being able to trade as much and make all these other moves and yada, yada, yada. Because I'm just like, hey, why doesn't everybody just, hey, to hell with it. We'll just pay everybody. Like that is, what are we talking about? Like what Phoenix Suns are doing. They're going to be like $750 million over the cap or whatever. Just Ishbia says, my fans don't want to hear that I have to pay a little luxury tax. I guess there's other rules also whenever you're paying the luxury tax about things you can and can't do. It's very fascinating where the NBA is right now. Will they make changes to any of these rules? Will they go back to trying to create and find another dynasty? I don't know, but I do know that once football season is over, we will certainly be paying close attention to the Indiana Pacers who are getting hot at the right time.
Are they?
Yeah, right now. Whenever people are about to start paying attention to basketball, Pacers are hot. Tyrese Halliburton's going bonkers. They're calling him Hallibananas, Hallibonkers, because what he's doing on the court. And his big Puma shoes, they don't look like complete ass like they did at the beginning of the season. He's got some good shoes on his feet as well. Yeah, look, don't look now. The Pacers are hot, pal.
Okay, well.
8-2 in their last 10.
I don't care about the Pacers. I care about what's going on in Miami.
Well, they
Jimmy
stink.
Butler, Pat Riley, they better figure that shit
Jimmy
out.
needs to come up to Indiana.
Yeah, get him somewhere. Get him somewhere. Thank you
happening.
for your service. Love what you did for the program. But look, nobody's bigger than the program.
Because the Pacers are like, hey, good vibes, Rick Carlisle, respect. Jimmy Butler doesn't bring that per se when you look at his.
Well, he's not happy.
Yeah.
But if he comes in and he's happy, we're good.
Yeah.
How about the NHL? Pittsburgh Penguins are doing really well, I heard.
They're tanking. They're looking for a top 5 pick.
What do you mean we're tanking? We got Sidney Crosby on the damn line.
Sharky fucking beat him last night.
The San Jose Sharks.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me?
2-1,
They don't even
Sharky
have
and
a
the
team.
boys.
That mascot I met a couple weeks back.
Oh, yeah.
It's shite, brother.
Sidney Crosby's playing,
Scored last night.
and we're tanking.
2-1, Sharkies.
Oh, so it's just a one-man show. You guys are destroying one of the greatest
Gino's
hockey
hurt.
players of all time.
Paul Bissonnette, who fought 8 Irish gypsies, he is pushing hard for the Pittsburgh Penguins to trade Sidney Crosby to Colorado so he can play with best friend Nate McKinnon, I guess.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, well, that's what Biz is saying. And I'm like, I texted Biz. I'm like, what are we doing? Why are you doing this? He goes, Waino got traded. He went through all this thing. He needs to go play with
That's
his...
what they always say. Waino, guess who didn't get traded? Mario Lemieux. Guess who Sid learned from and lived with? Mario Lemieux. Guess who finished his career as an all-time great with one franchise and then bought the franchise and brought them back to relevancy? Mario Lemieux.
Yeah, and Sidney Crosby is not going to be able to do that because the ownership group that owns the Pens is probably never going to sell them because they just look at the bottom line. They don't spend a single dollar to make their teams better.
Well, they actually just announced that they are looking to sell at least a portion. They're looking for minority investors.
How much?
Don't know. They bought the team, what was that, 2-3 years ago for $900 million-ish, so...
So if they're selling a portion...
Wait a minute.
You don't want to be a minority of FSG. That place sucks.
I agree. They have done nothing but shite for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
They've made 800 million pounds off Liverpool alone this year. Won't spend a fucking cent.
Who's this Fenway Sports Group?
FSG.
Bums.
Killing their socks as
Get
well.
him out of sports. Get him out of Pittsburgh for sure.
That's LeBron.
He's part of that group, right? Mm-hmm. Joining us now is not a part of that group, but certainly a part of some sort of ownership or something.
Yeah. Sure.
Number 5 overall pick in the NFL, the all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers. Ladies and gentlemen, national champion for the Ohio State Buckeyes, A.J. Hawk.
Yeah,
Hawker, the Pens are tanking with Sidney Crosby on the ice. I don't like that one bit, pal.
That's a shame. We should trade him maybe in the division to the Columbus Blue Jackets, who are kind of exceeding expectations so far this year.
Well, the expectations of that team is to be dead last. So what do you mean exceeding expectations?
Well, I believe they're third in the Metropolitan Division at the moment. So, yeah, they're doing okay.
They're not, but they are 1 point out of a playoff spot.
Okay, respect.
Ooh.
That is exceeding expectations, almost in the playoffs. That's a Detroit Red Wings territory,
Yeah.
almost in the playoffs. Hockey's awesome, as is the NBA.
Well,
we don't know. We haven't paid attention enough.
Sounds like
TGL is getting awesome. But you know what is awesome, AJ Hawk? These coaches being hired, especially for the Jacksonville Jaguars, which are in what county are the Jacksonville Jaguars in?
Duval.
Okay, AJ, your thoughts on Liam Cohen, the new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, in his rollout yesterday?
So I've had some time to to be with this clip, I think, because I've been watching the program. I watched you guys show this a little bit. I've seen all the hype. I guess I'm trying to take away like the positives from this thing, and what I see is a coach that is excited about his new job. That's the positive I found.
And he's very comfortable.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I think he's very excited. I think he's very excited, yeah.
You thought he was uncomfortable up there? Go ahead and run it.
I was uncomfortable. I was a bit uncomfortable.
Duval.
He's comfy. Those eyebrows move, brother.
I think he was comfy. He looked around for the pop, too, huh? I know it.
Where my boy's at.
I know my shit, dog.
Do you think he saw the success of the Siriannis and the MCDCs? Because they had some goofball moments in their opening pressers.
Well, McDaniel down there in Miami had some goofball moments as well, and it's not going as great, I think Gumpy would say.
Yeah, we're on our last leg here.
Okay, so there has been some opening press conferences that have not looked like the others, and there's been great success. And then there has been some red flags that have been like, we should have known whenever that happens. I'm not saying just McDaniel. We love McDaniel. We hope Miami turns it around. But that's one of the softest teams in football. And it's like, is McDaniel the guy that's going to end up getting them tough? I'm not 100% sure. Liam Cohen is loved, though, if you listen to his words to Rick Stroud in the Tampa Bay Times, by Baker, the offensive line, Mike Evans, everybody that's played for him last year in Tampa enjoys him. Now, the exit from Tampa Bay didn't go as smoothly, I think, as a lot of people would have expected. He said time will heal all wounds. How easy is it to hire a staff at this stage of the coaching cycle? Legitimately, maybe Slowick, right?
Maybe.
We keep bringing up Slowick's name strictly because Slowick was fired so late in the coaching cycle. He's still out there. He's still available. But what are your thoughts on how Liam is actually going to do as a head coach? Or can we just not judge anything from yet?
I mean, I don't think we can judge anything. We don't. I think even D-Bud, you guys have talked about it. Like, we don't know. We have no. If they come out there in this presser and they absolutely kill it, and they say all the right things, the team can go defeated and go 0-17 the next year still, and none of it really matters. So I don't think we can take a whole lot off of this. We know the dude, he can draw guys open. He knows how to get players open. He knows how to run an offense. I like that part about him. But yeah, there's a lot more that goes into being a head coach, and we're going to see now because we know Jacksonville, they've been trying to figure it out for a while now.
What do you think about that particular thing right there that was pulled right off his Wikipedia about here? He's been in a lot of places. He's done a lot of different jobs. He's only 39 years old. He's young. He'll continue to grow. And he has some say in who the next GM is going to be, as Balky was fired very late in the entire process as well. What does this tell you, though? A lot of quick stops in a lot of places.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, you're always trying to move up and get promoted. Is that what's going on? I mean, he definitely has moved around. Most coaches do move around, but he is, especially going back and forth to the same spot a few times.
Yeah, well, I think that's good. He's welcomed back.
Yeah.
Right? I think
that's a good point. Yeah.
I think that's a good way to view it. He's been welcomed back to L.A. multiple times. He's been welcomed back to Kentucky. Not that Kentucky's ever really had that much success, a couple different times. So I think that is telling about the building and how they potentially feel about him.
It did get Bill Levis to be drafted as a first-round high quarterback, so that's something to look at there. And then they welcomed him back, and it didn't go as well. But, yeah, I mean, that is a weird situation to go Rams and Kentucky back and forth and back.
Same job title, too, going back and forth. There's people around him that say, he pulls a lot from Sean McVay. He's attempting to I think everybody is trying to be Sean McVay. I think Liam will continue to find who he is as a head coach. I will say this, though, as just like a, real talk. If he's like that every day, it's okay. But if he's doing a front here, that is going to get sniffed out so quick. And if you lose 5-6 games, that shit's going to get ugly, loud, quickly. I mean, that is the real deal of the situation. Just as somebody who was bottom of the totem pole, but actually top of the totem pole, if you actually understand what a totem pole is, because I think the bottom of the totem pole is like the most important part because it's the base of the totem pole. But I'm talking about the metaphor in which meaning of no importance, but certainly being a part of the totem pole as a punter. Watching coaches try to find their way, even if it's assistant coaches, whenever you try to be something you're not, it works at the beginning. But inevitably, the real you is going to shine through at a time. And once people think you're no longer you and you're a fake person, it's over. especially at the head coaching job. You can talk about Urban Meyer down there in that same facility. You can talk about a lot of head coaches that have maybe said, this is how I'm going to be when I'm a head coach. And you're putting on like a costume. I'm a head coach. I'm a head coach. And then one day you're not going to do that. You're going to forget to do that. You're going to get tired. You're going to get caught not being that person. And an entire room, an entire building, an entire organization is going to go, this guy's fugazi. And once that happens, it's over. So if that's what Liam Cohen is every single day, I'm excited to watch him. I'm excited to watch his team buy in, which Baker, offensive line, Mike Evans allegedly did last season, seemingly in years past has happened. So if that's how he is every day, cool. If it's fake, that'll get sniffed out quick by the locker room, and that'll end up being another Jacksonville Jaguars situation down there, AJ.
Yeah, he knows that. He has to know the situation going in, so I would assume that is who he is. And that's what we say all the time. Whatever you are, if you're authentic, I think players will respect it. They may think you're a terrible coach, but if you're authentic and that's really who you are and say this dude might be corny, he might be whatever, they still can respect the fact that you're consistent day to day and that's who you are and you're not acting like somebody else or acting like you think a head coach should be behaving. Like that's what players see. And we know like pro athletes are very skeptical people off the bat. Like they should be. I think it's a good quality they have. So you got to like prove to that room that you can help them win games, and then they'll do anything for you.
Locker room has a good sense of fugazi. Very good. It's phenomenal. And even if some people in the locker room don't, the other people in their position meeting room go, this guy's full shit. And then it's like, yeah, he is, isn't he? And then you get through there. And you said that you assume Liam Cohen knows that. He's not going to. There's been coaches that have been fake all the time. So let's not just assume that Liam Cohen understands that. He might think he's being, I don't even want to get into it. It's tough to think that that's who that guy actually is.
I agree.
It is very tough.
It's a goofball.
He might be a goober.
I mean, sometimes I guess you get excited, I guess. It's dream job. That's what I'm trying to chalk it up to. Like, yeah, he's juiced. This guy's pumped. Also, is his office a fishbowl? When they walked into his office, it was full go. Like, there's no privacy anywhere there.
Yeah, I believe it's all glass windows. Let's assume there is some sort of
like thing you can change.
Smoke.
Didn't he said this is definitely different. He said.
Yeah, and I think he said something about his dad, which is really cool to see. Like that is a cool moment.
Yeah.
That is a dream moment for him. I'm very happy for him. I just hope he is a goober all the time, because if he's not, it's not going to work. Like especially now, because all the players have seen all this. All the players have seen all this down there. And all Trevor wants is a coach that's going to put him in a position to go win. All that team wants is a coach that's going to put him in a position to win. But also what they need is somebody to be themselves. Don't try to be somebody that you're not. Don't try to be a movie character coach. Be yourself, because you are who we are following. And if you don't even know who the hell you are, who the hell are we following, brother? And that's the biggest takeaway from a team building situation. So we don't know Liam. I don't know Liam. You don't know Liam. He's from Massachusetts?
He's from Rhode Island.
Sure.
Okay.
Similar area, right?
No, it is not. They're two completely different groups of people. They are both in New England, though.
But that's all I have to... Like, Shoddy, I think Shoddy's been around for so damn long. Shoddy knows exactly who he is. Schottenheimer is going to be Schottenheimer every single day. Big Mike McCarthy, always Big Mike McCarthy. Some of these coaches are getting their first-time opportunity. They don't know who the hell they're going to be, and that's an immediate loss before you even get into the seat. I'm not saying that's Liam. Yep. I'm just saying he's going to have to be him all the time. And that is I think that's the biggest trait that you have to have as an NFL head coach. And let's go back to Tampa Bay offense coordinators getting head coaching jobs. Baker Mayfield might be the one-way trip to getting a head coaching job. David Canales. Obviously, always David Canales. Because whenever it goes terrible in Carolina at the beginning, that could have easily went two different ways. That could have went, this guy sucks, get him out of here. He benched Bryce Young, remember? Did all this shit. This guy's fake. This is it. Instead, the team stuck with him. Bryce stuck with him. And then at the end, they were kind of reaping the benefits of that entire thing. I think Canales knew exactly who he was, and I think the team responded and appreciated that, even through the turmoil of the crap. It's like when things are going good, everybody's good. But then whenever it goes bad, it's like that's when you find out who's who. If Liam's always like that, I think he's got a good chance. I think any head coach is going to have a good chance.
Yeah, I'm kind of with AJ. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. And even who he is now, like he'll have to be a different version of that now being a head coach. You know what I mean? You're not just calling plays. You're not just connecting with the offensive players, with the quarterbacks, with the receivers, O-line. Now you got to set the standard. You got to set the message, the tone, the culture in that building day in and day out. So he's definitely going to have to be different, going to have to mature. But I'm giving the benefit of the doubt early on, and with everything that we've seen now, even with Ben Johnson, I feel like we saw more of Ben Johnson than we've seen him as a coordinator. Yeah. We're seeing now with Liam. So yeah, the players, hey, you're a goofball. But if you're a goofball that can draw up plays that can get the best out of Trevor Lawrence and his offense, and that can have us rolling in the right direction, we're going to follow you.
Well, you mentioned it though, Pat. I think like the most, if they're gonna, because there's a good chance they lose early on. Like I suppose they could, win 5 games and like be in first place in the AFC South. But like that's the biggest credit to Dan Campbell is like they sucked for a long time at the start of his tenure, but he was the same guy, and he never lost the locker room. You never heard anything coming out like, hey, this guy, like our worst fears are imagined. This guy is a big dumb dipshit. Like we're done playing for him. So we'll see. Like I don't know how. I mean, you guys having been in the locker room, having been around coaches, like if you start 0-6 and things aren't going great, like. Our guy's still going to be pulling in that direction. If this guy is just like a goofball weirdo, like it just. Hey.
Ty has no hope in this guy. Ty has given zero benefit of the.
And I didn't expect to do that coming in today. Kind of just came out, and I was just like, you know what? Yeah, why not? But I just that Duval. That was one of the. Oh, man.
Is that how he started? Was that his first word into the mic?
No.
Yes.
Yeah. That was the beginning and the end of the press conference. That was it.
Yeah, and then the selfie video that social media team put together, that's a whole nother animal. And we've talked about how shitty some social media teams are. We're not talking about the Jags. We don't know the Jags social media team. And to be clear, the Jags social media team hasn't really had a chance to, no winning teams really, social media teams have a chance to really showcase who they are, what they are. But some of these social videos have not done a lot of favors for a lot of these coaches either. Like Ben Johnson's worst video from his introduction was the social media video.
Yeah.
By far. The selfie video made him look like a goober.
Mm-hmm.
Made him look like a big
They don't think that, though. They obviously don't think that.
Who, the social media team?
Yeah.
Well, that's because they have social media degrees. And
they know.
They know.
It's great content.
All I ask for these teams, I understand the people that run businesses who are a little older might be scared of social media. Like, well, I don't know. I would never be able to figure that out. Let me hire somebody. Just get somebody that knows ball. Just one of the main questions should be, do you know ball at all? Got to know ball. We are very lucky that we get a chance to meet some people who've done pretty prolific things in the social media world, and they're asked to consult with like some NFL teams and stuff like that. And literally the questions they ask, like, hey, what should a social media team, let's say, for the New York Jets? What do you think the New York Jets social media team should be? The only thing you need is somebody that knows ball, that is operating that particular account, just knows ball. So they'll know not to put out a bad throw that could potentially bury the quarterback. They'll know not to put out a quote or something that they don't even know could inadvertently make somebody look bad. You just got to have people that know ball, which doesn't happen in social media a lot because a lot of social media degrees are coming from people that have never been around sports, but they certainly get this fucking keys to a Lamborghini of an NFL team, and then all of a sudden you get the let's ride shit from Russell Wilson and Denver Broncos that they are toting as a success. Look at the numbers we did in this entire thing. But instead you just lost all credibility for your quarterback. Your quarterback's getting killed and your team's getting killed. But the social media person is like, but look at these numbers.
Look at these impressions. Look at the impressions.
Yeah, exactly. So social media teams can certainly affect how fan bases and how national audiences feel about their team. And I don't think the old asses that are running the team understand that enough. I don't think that is something that's fully comprehended. And Ben Johnson's worst video was the social media video. Liam Cohen's worst video was all of them.
Yeah,
okay. So that does not mean he's going to be a bad coach, though. That does not mean Ben Johnson's going to be a bad coach. We must reserve judgment until we watch it, but let's never forget this. Now, speaking of never forgetting, how about the numbers for the Bills-Chiefs game? Josh Allen taking on Patrick Mahomes. Most watched AFC Championship game dating back to at least 1988. 57.7 million viewer average. Now, obviously, it was the second game of the two-game slate on a championship Sunday. 57.7 million people watched an electrifying AFC Championship game that ended with a fourth quarter kick late in the game to win it for the Kansas City Chiefs as they go to another Super Bowl. AJ, what does this number tell you? It tells me that's a lot of motherfuckers. It also tells me that football is king, always has been, always will be, AJ Hawk.
Yes, that is what Raj and the league is doing. That's why they protect the shield, because you get these unbelievably astronomical numbers. What is the usual number for a Super Bowl compared to this?
I think a Super Bowl is like 120 or something, like 115.
Crazy.
Last year's Super Bowl was the most watched thing since the moon landing. That was definitely real.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Nice. And not every person in the United States watched the moon landing, so that'll probably never be eclipsed.
Yeah, but that was definitely clear live footage from the fucking moon.
That's exactly right.
In 1969.
I know. Crazy how we were able to do that technology-wise then. But I mean,
in audio, there wasn't even like a flub.
No hiccups. But again, our space program had the best and brightest.
Bingo.
That's why we won the space race.
And then they did the slingshot to send them back home, right?
Bingo.
Around the moon.
Exactly.
Went to the dark side of the moon, slingshot their way back.
Which is what's over there.
1969.
I know. Crazy.
We had Dan Orlovsky on live from his kitchen while he was eating, and I think there was a couple glitches of his sound in 2025. Moon landing, this is one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. 8K.
I know. Crazy what
That's
NASA
unbelievable.
Can do. I know. NASA's unbelievable.
NASA football.
USA, USA, USA. USA. There's people saying they're going to boycott this Super Bowl, though. Did you hear that?
Yeah. I've been hearing that a lot. Been seeing that a lot.
Why?
Don't believe it at all.
How could you? I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Yeah. Okay, what are any of us going to do?
Marks.
What are we're going to not turn on the Super Bowl? Okay.
No, we will not be.
Yeah, we will be watching the Super Bowl. And I think it's kind of, it got real loud there about the Chiefs and the Bills, and then the Chiefs and the Ravens. Or, no, Chiefs and Texans.
Yeah.
Yes.
The week before in the division round, which feels like it's 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I know, right? I understand the Chiefs hate, though. Mahomes, Kelsey, Taylor Swift. I get that. But why do people hate the Eagles?
You ever been there?
Philadelphia.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts. People.
Tush push? Or
Yeah, the
just Jalen
tush push
Hurts?
they hate, and also Jalen Hurts has some D1 haters, if you recall from the first time.
Self-proclaimed D1 hater.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, you're so cool. You got the cool chain, and you got the cool girlfriend, and you got all this money. Like, fuck you. That's what people say about Jalen Hurts typically when it comes to him.
We do live in a hater society, especially with the internet, and there's very clever haters that we get a chance to see on the internet. We're very thankful for them.
Sure.
Obviously, if we're not the targets. Even when I'm the target, I read some of those and I go, damn, that's pretty good. I don't know how you piece that together, but I like what you did there. But there's a lot of people that say, the NFL, they don't want us to watch. The NFL thinks they can get away with anything. The NFL is forcing Taylor Swift into the Super Bowl yet again. They're forcing a three-peat so they can talk about a dynasty just because they want to bury the Patriots. Maybe there's always going to be these things that people think that they can bring up that make them want to hate the NFL. But at the end of the day, push comes to shove, football is the greatest thing on television, which is why 57.7 million people watch a championship game. Wow. That's an average. Who knows what the peak was? Probably 70 million.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah, more stats. Yeah. NFL's second most watched non-Super Bowl game behind the 2009 Vikings Saints.
That was the Case Keenum. Yeah, the Minnesota Miracle.
Oh, Minneapolis Miracle. Broke the internet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stephon Diggs snags that thing. Bad pursuit angle there. I don't know.
Terrible.
Yeah, I still don't know how. Yeah. Up 4% from last year's Ravens-Chiefs game that was in the early window. So literally everything for the NFL still up and to the right. Even like college ball had a little bit of a downfall. Wasn't on, what's that called?
Basic cable.
Basic cable. It was on ESPN. Next year, it'll be on ABC. Let's assume numbers will be bananas for the national championship. But it's like, I assume last year, whenever the Ravens took on the Chiefs, the number was gigantic. Everybody's like, damn, for a championship game. Up 4% yet again. Now, who knows what's real and what isn't real? I'm not talking about the moon landing.
No, yeah, it's 1,000% real.
1,000%.
Yeah. If you could
million.
if you could go like 1,000,000%, it'd be 1,000,000%.
A million?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. USA.
USA. USA.
That's amazing. We had all that, and then we just threw it out and said never again.
Well, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, hey, we did it. Like, let's close this book, and now let's.
Yeah, what about just like the streaming quality in general? Being able to stream that from the moon back to America. Why did we stop doing that?
I think they just realized we weren't ready for it yet.
Humans as a whole?
As a society, we just weren't.
Couldn't handle it.
We just were not ready for it yet. I mean, look at that. Look at that.
That's hard to believe.
It's unbelievable.
Zeno said, I don't know if this is the real moon.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
This is
Looks like it.
I don't think this is real. I don't think this particular shot here is real. I don't think that it's Buzz and Neil.
No, it's not. It's not.
Who was the camera person for that? Was it Scorsese up there with him? Or
Jim Lovell, I think.
Okay.
One of the
I thought it was Stanley Kubrick.
Well, a lot of people say that, and those people are fucking idiots.
What did Stanley Kubrick do?
That's what everyone says. Stanley Kubrick was the one who, filmed the moon.
Yeah, there's a movie
on a
about it.
soundstage in Hollywood.
Oh, you're talking about the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, bingo.
Yeah, that whole thing.
Exactly.
They're not the only ones. A lot of people say that.
A lot of people do say
Not
that.
us on this particular show.
Of course not, because we're realists. We live in the real world. Okay.
Where?
Where we landed on the moon and we won the goddamn space race.
In what year?
1969.
At the time, that was the most important thing in the world. You don't think the U.S. was going to win the most important thing in the world?
I agree. I think we won it. I think we won it. Even if we didn't, we won
We're
it.
going to lose to Russia?
If we were able to bluff and win it, I'm okay with
That's
it.
almost even better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If we were able to fake a moon landing and get everybody to believe that we did it, I'm still a USA 1 type guy. Shit, I'll bluff a hand. I'm not scared to do that. If we get a win, we get a win. If the chips come back to us, we count it as a win. But, the older I get, the more I think about it. I don't know.
I would advise just not thinking about it.
Okay.
And just living in the world in which we did go. And we did win.
Bingo.
And
Okay.
you know what we did? There's just an entire generation of Russian people just put whatever they were doing down and just say, we can't win. We can't beat the U.S.
Which we love. Once again, USA. 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 Rest in peace, Zerlon Tipton, one of our former teammates. He had a quote that said, makes sense, you don't think about it. He would say something. And then
I like that.
I will go, what? He goes, it makes sense, you don't think about it. Let's keep it moving.
That's right.
And he would just jog away, and I was like, all right.
That's awesome.
All right, we'll think,
That's right.
Yeah, we won't. You're right. Yeah, I won't think about it. We'll just keep it moving. Your life's better that way, And Zerlon was certainly a ball of energy, but that's one of the greatest quotes that I've ever heard come out of a human, and I will take that on for the 8K stream.
I know.
We had from the moon.
Are we sure that wasn't the real one?
Zeno pulled up the fake moon.
We don't know. The original's black and white, right?
Yes.
The original?
Yes.
Well, we don't know.
Well, the one that aired.
The video, an estimated 650 million people worldwide.
I don't know if the Super Bowl is ever going to get that many.
Okay.
So we'll see.
President Nixon made a call, what's been called the longest distance phone call to.
Wait, they made a call to the moon? What?
Well, yeah, you got to be able to talk to him.
They patched it through Houston.
Yeah, of course.
Look at that.
Well, Houston didn't have any problems that day, did they?
No, they didn't.
Let me see if I can even call my wife right now. It's two blocks down.
Our Wi-Fi doesn't work on the plane half the flight.
Yeah,
We're talking about NASA, not Apple.
When we're up on the plane and the Wi-Fi just doesn't work, and they're like, well, we're on an airplane. It's like, well, they were on the goddamn moon.
Yeah, well, they were using a Linksys router. I can guarantee that.
Bingo.
Space age technology that our minds can't even comprehend.
It's true.
USA. USA. USA.
All right, we went. I know.
Yeah, I know you know.
Either way, we won.
Amen. Amen. No matter how you slice it or dice it, we won the space game. We won the space game. And I'm thankful for that we won in that particular time. I wasn't alive. I wasn't even thought of, but it is a nice little feather under the United States of America's cap.
Yeah.
That Buzz and Neil got it done.
End of the first Cold War.
I didn't know we had a fucking cold call up to the moon, though. That's the first time I've heard
Longest long distance call ever.
of all time. Still.
Yep, still stands to this day.
650 million people worldwide watch it. I don't know if that's ever going to get topped.
I don't think so.
And then longest phone call of all time to the moon. Wow. That's amazing.
That just swung me the other way.
We did it.
No way we did it.
What?
Yeah. Seeing that phone call thing, up until right there, I believed it, and now I don't.
Was there a delay, or were they talking, hello?
Instantaneous.
There was no delay?
Nope.
Yeah.
There was no delay.
No way.
Probably one of the first FaceTimes, kind of, I heard.
Yeah, well, he certainly saw him.
Well, now you gone too far.
I mean, it wasn't.
You went way too far.
Through a satellite, through NASA.
I mean, suck it, Russia. We never went, bitch, and we still won.
Well, I think we beat him.
Well, yeah, we won.
Yeah.
Anyways, last Super Bowl was the most watched thing since
the moon landing. Yeah, 650 million.
Maybe this one will beat it.
Talk about air quotes.
650 million.
Call Stephen Jones.
How'd they count that? Nielsen was on the numbers.
Well, I think they just knew. Damn near everyone in the world was watching that.
Walker, I saw everybody was watching. Did you see?
Yeah.
I saw everybody I saw. I got a friend in Ohio. He said everybody he knew saw.
Come on, we need to watch the U.S. win again.
Can we please listen to this? Can we please listen to this? We're looking.
Good quality.
The President of the United States is in his office now and would like to say a few words to you. Over.
Tell him to talk.
That would be an honor. Go ahead, Mr. President. This is Houston out.
Hello, Neil and Buzz. I'm talking to you by telephone from the Oval Room at the White House. And this certainly has to be the most historic telephone call ever made. I just can't tell you how proud we all are of what you... For every American, this has to be the proudest day of our lives. And for people all over the world, I am sure they too join
Just pass them through.
in recognizing what an immense feat this is. Because of what you have done, the heavens have become a part of man's world.
That's right.
And as you talk to us from the sea of tranquility, it inspires us to redouble our efforts to bring peace and tranquility to Earth.
That's right.
For one priceless moment in the whole history of man, all the people on this earth are truly one. One in their pride in what you have done, and one in our prayers that you will return safely to Earth.
There it is. They weren't on Earth. They'll return.
Yeah, hopefully they return safely from the moon.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a great honor and privilege for us to be here representing not only the United States, but men of peace of all nations, and with interest and a curiosity and with the vision for the future.
And thank you very much, and I look forward, all of us look forward to seeing you on the Hornet on Thursday.
Come on.
Yeah, we did go. All right, sweet.
We did it.
That's the same delay frequency as we currently have with ESPN when we send our show. So I'm happy a lot has changed in
makes sense.
technology. Congrats to us making it up there.
We did it.
Forgot it was Nixon too. He's a real trustworthy guy.
Hey.
Nixon's full of shit.
Yeah,
Jesus.
No. It's not as if Nixon ever did
I'm not a
anything.
crook. I'm not a crook.
Crooked when he was in there. No way. This sucks.
He said return to Earth.
Are you guys not American?
I'm pretty bummed that I've learned today that we never went to the moon.
Oh,
Whoa, we didn't teach you that.
Shocker.
you
Conspiracy guy doesn't think we went to the moon.
I believed it up until 5 minutes ago, which really sucks.
No, we went. He said return to Earth. We'll see you at the Hornet. Charlotte had a game. Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, they did.
That's just a bummer.
We beat them.
We still won.
Respect that.
Oh, we never went.
They patched him through. It wasn't like an official phone call. Like they patched him through Houston, like it was like when they held his phone up to the speaker, basically.
Yeah, it was just like when Houston's talking to Neil.
Yeah. What do you think he dialed AT&T on a rotary phone and called him?
I think there's a chance those were just lines into a phone, and then they said their lines back.
This guy.
I legitimately until 1:32, I thought we went to the moon. Then
We did!
Then you had to bring that video up. 650 million people, they all watched the moon landing. They made a phone call.
What do you think? No one cared about the moon landing?
President Nixon.
That might be 750 million, brother. We didn't get an accurate total.
Who cares?
Right.
10 billion. Who gives a shit?
I don't know if they had 10 billion people.
No.
We don't even know. But they might as well just say that.
Don't lose.
I'm bummed out.
You hear how crazy you sound?
I do. I didn't think I was going to be here. Just like you didn't think you were going to bury Liam Cohen. I didn't think I was going to not believe in the moon landing.
No, we need you to believe. It's America. Come on. We did it.
America still won.
We did.
And that's the bottom line.
USA.
USA. USA.
Anyways, 57.7 million average viewers for the AFC Championship. Last year's Super Bowl, most watched thing since the definite moon landing that we had
without a doubt.
in 1969.
Spent a whole 2 hours up there. That was it. Saw all we needed to see. So we're good here. 2 hours. Let's get out of here.
Well, they said we got kicked out by whoever was potentially up there.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, do a little knock on the wrong door up there.
Well, you know what they're doing up there now?
What's that?
They're inside the moon.
Who's that?
This guy.
What?
We're gonna listen to this guy.
How'd they get there, Con?
It's the Galactic Federation in the world's brightest minds working with aliens.
Anyways, what do you think all right, so we went to the moon.
Wait, how many times have we been back?
Plenty. A dude hit a golf ball off the moon. We saw it.
Yeah, Tiger.
All right.
No, I don't know about that.
Yeah, it was a Puma commercial.
In that commercial,
it was a Nike commercial.
For Tiger Gatorade.
One and done?
We've been there 12 times.
12? Oh, okay.
What's his name? The old guy, the actor who went up, and it really just crushed his dreams.
William Shatner went up there and said, "Don't go, nothing's up there." All right. So the people saying that they will boycott, we went to the moon.
We went to the moon.
We went to the moon.
Open
Yeah, we did.
shut
Just keep saying
book. We went to the moon.
This sucks. guys.
Shout out to us. We did it in 1969. That was great.
I got some bad news.
No, it's not news. It's your opinion.
I don't think it is. I think we kind of confirmed it here. There's no way. There's no way we did that.
You know what? This guy wasn't saying any of this stuff before he had a Chinese samurai
Bingo.
bun on the back of his head.
Whoa.
Japanese,
Whoa, that'd
brother.
be Japanese.
I know.
Have a
I
little
know
respect.
samurais are Japanese. You think there was never a Chinese guy who slipped over and said, "You know what? I think I'm gonna be a samurai."
Nope.
No,
Nope.
I don't think
I
so.
think there was.
I don't think
Good call.
That
Good
was
call.
forbidden.
Guess what? World War II happened too. Got news for you.
we
Well,
won.
yeah.
We won.
Yeah,
Okay?
I know World War II happened.
USA, good for us. Anyways, let's get back to the boycott of the Super Bowl. What was last year's number?
We only went to the moon 6 times, by the way.
Okay, Tone's making things up to make the story
I
sound
think
better.
Nick's making things up to make it sound worse.
Did anyone die on the moon?
No, they thrived. They had a phone call with the president on the moon.
If no one died, then I definitely don't feel like we went.
People did die in the mission to get there,
Yeah.
obviously testing rockets and things.
Which would probably shut it down, right?
No, because we had to beat them.
Oh, yeah.
Had to
Had to get there.
For sure.
Haven't you ever seen Apollo 13?
I've seen Tom Hanks, which, I mean, that's a whole different conversation.
Uh-oh.
All right, let's talk about the Super Bowl. Last year, most watched since the moon landing that we all agree, except for Connor.
We went to.
Definitely went to 120.25 million viewers. Simulcast got 3.46 million, not too shabby. 123.7, you start doing the math there. Total across all platforms. Most watched thing since the moon landing. People, 126 down there. What was that? New England, Atlanta. But I guess the average was only 111.
Yeah, and they don't have the out of home there for the for the latest one.
Okay, so what are we projecting for this year's Super Bowl? 120, I guess, would be the right projection. Is that what we're expecting? Because everything for the NFL is up and to the right. If it was to stay at 123.7, I think people would say that's a success, especially with how big last year was. But if you look at the numbers here, 108, 113, 115, 113, 126, 119, 113. Now, when you get to 2020, 101, which doesn't make any sense. What was everybody doing? There's nothing else to do.
No, there wasn't.
You had to watch the Super Bowl, I thought.
What was it?
101, 112, 115, 123. So everything's going up and to the right last 4 years. We think that continues? Let's take a vote. D-Butt, you think it's more than 123.7?
Yes, I think it's more.
Tone, you think it's more than 123.7?
No.
I don't think so either.
No,
I think
I don't.
I think 120 will
Because
be.
what
I said
surprised me
lower.
was last week when, or not last week, sorry, 2 weeks ago when Bills Ravens was down as far as the divisional round. Like that surprised me. So I would not be shocked if this one was down for some reason.
Yeah, like if you pull that back up for a second, the entire graph, like look where it is, New England, Atlanta, and then the next two, New England's in all three of those Super Bowls. Like people do. And
People get tired of.
We're in the same exact thing here with KC. And
Yeah, but Kansas City was in 3 out of 4, and then the fourth one was the highest. So Kansas City, Tampa Bay, 101. Kansas City, Philly, 115. Kansas City, San Francisco, 123.7.
Yeah,
Ooh,
but
look
does-
at
Doesn't it have like a Floyd Mayweather effect though? Like where people, like the diehards want to see the Chiefs win, but then everyone else wants to see them lose?
Yeah.
Yeah, and do you feel like this year has been even more so their most hated year?
But this year also the highest ratings, I think, since 2015 for the NFL.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's so many different things. I wonder what the NFL is projecting. I wonder if somebody will ask Roger Goodell in his Super Bowl press conference.
Now, if you look at New England, Atlanta, and then, the last one, those were both, if I'm reading the graph correctly, overtime games. So they were close games. A lot of people tuning in to watch them.
Get a little extra.
The Tampa Bay one, they won by 22. I'm reading that correct. That one, 101 million.
So the game matters.
Game does matter.
Got a
Philadelphia.
chance to history, too.
What's that?
Three-peat. Got a chance to see something done that's never been done before.
Yeah, so you can market the shit out of that. But I think what people are getting out of the marketing is I'm tired of seeing them. I'm tired of seeing
Yeah,
them.
because even for like the history conversation, you could say that with Tampa and KC because Brady was going for his 7th.
Taylor Swift in that last one, right?
Yep.
That's the first one she's a part of,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
know football people don't want to hear this, but that's a real number.
For sure.
Like my wife is much more interested in the game to see what Taylor is doing or how Taylor is reacting. She's obviously 36, about to turn 37. Ooh. Yikes.
I believe that's right.
I think so.
Wait, Taylor Swift or your wife?
My wife.
Oh.
Shit. I think she's 36, about to turn 37. She just had her half birthday the other day.
There you
Oh,
go.
nice.
Obviously,
Happy half birthday.
Happy half birthday.
We celebrate. Happy half birthday, Sam. Love you, lady.
Good.
Happy half birthday. But with that being said, Swifties, very real. Daughters of a lot of football dudes told stories about how they were able to share more time with their daughters than they ever had in the past, and they've fallen in love with football. So that obviously adds to the number of it all. Also, overtime certainly helps because the longer game, more people potentially get their eyes on it.
Yeah, I mean, all those videos came out last year of like groups of girls throwing like Taylor Swift themed like Super Bowl parties who, in years past probably either didn't give a shit or, went with their husbands or significant others and, weren't focused on the game. But like, we're talking like massive parties with like Taylor Swift related stuff. And you would assume that just as she's become, it's like, hey, guess what? Her and Travis are probably going to get married. Like, this is real. And I think maybe last year people were kind of, no, it's not. Like, it is. So I wonder if that'll go up again.
I think the halftime show probably matters too.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey.
It was Rihanna last year, right?
Big time.
Who was it last year?
Rihanna was pregnant when she did it.
Ooh, I
2 years ago.
I thought it was Rihanna last year.
Was it?
Usher.
Usher
last year?
Yeah, I remember
He
Alicia
roller
Keys.
skated. Roller skated.
Yep.
Yeah, and he had the Alicia Keys moment where he was really doing it to her.
Yeah.
He was really dancing on her. You remember that, D-Butch?
Was he?
They were grinding. They weren't smooching.
No, they weren't.
They were grinding out there.
Swiss Beats was not happy.
Well, no, people were saying
it was
Swiss Beats shouldn't be happy, and then Swiss Beats said, "My wife just performed at the Super Bowl. Everybody needs to fucking relax." How about that?
yeah.
Alicia Keys is an absolute dog, which she is. So is Usher. Kendrick Lamar down in Louisiana. Excited to see who pops up into that.
Yeah, there's one.
What?
There's only one person who should pop up into that.
Who's that?
Be Weezy F Baby.
Lil Wayne. Allegedly, there was reports that Lil Wayne was asked if he wanted to do the halftime performance. Allegedly. There was a lot. Obviously got really loud when Kendrick was selected over Lil Wayne down there. But then there was a bunch of interviews that were done by a bunch of people that were a part of it. And they were like, we asked, we didn't want to. Who knows? But you're right. Fireman should certainly come out there.
No doubt. Birdman, too, maybe.
Yeah, why not Boosie? Let Boosie come running out there, too.
Yeah.
Birdman can fly in any weather.
True.
Yeah. Bird call would be great out there.
Would be.
Is he going to do, he's got to do Not Like Us, right?
Yeah, it was on the commercial.
Yeah, I think I just, yep.
Has to do it.
Maybe Baby Boy to Prince.
This is the way I live. Maybe boss still pushing big way up. Marshawn Lynch interrupted Pete Carroll's press conference. I don't know if you heard that, AJ. Somebody screamed, Raiders. Who was it?
From out of town. There you go. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, Mark, settle down a little bit.
Pete Carroll quickly dismisses it as Mark Davis, which it certainly could have been. It was actually Marshawn Lynch, who obviously Bay Area legend, a man who played for the Raiders, and also a very close friend, I would assume, of Pete Carroll. Marshawn's pumped about it. Pete's seemingly pumped to be a Raider. Allegedly, there is ties to maybe, is Geno Smith going to be a Raider quarterback? Is Russell Wilson going to be a Raider quarterback? What does Pete Carroll's version of the Raiders look like? We shall see, but I'll tell you, the vibes look a lot better than they have over the last few years, AJ Hawk.
Yeah, I'd say that's what bringing Pete in. We know Pete runs at like a up-tempo, high-energy, like fast, fun practice. But yeah, does Marshawn have an official title? Like, is Pete going to hire him in some kind of assistant role, you think?
I think it's just Marshawn, right? Like, that's the title.
Like McConaughey is for Texas.
Come and go as you want. Yeah, culture guy.
He's the minister of culture.
Yeah.
The minister of culture, not the administer of culture, because he's not an admin. I believe is what McConaughey said. He's the minister of culture. And obviously that is something that Matthew McConaughey has taken very, very seriously down there in Texas. He's at every single event, and he's always representing Hook 'em for the horns. Marshawn probably just welcome in the building whenever. And that's big, anytime you're trying to put your culture in, you want your guys in there that are going to help you do it. Marshawn being able to do that for Pete is certainly an immediate, kind of, solidifier of the fact that it works around here and that everybody should get on board. Don't you think, D-Bud?
Yeah, it could be. It could be. We'll see. But I'll tell you what, they need to find a damn quarterback. That's the biggest thing for the Raiders and what Pete Carroll going to do out there. I think Marshawn Lynch and his vibes are immaculate wherever he is. He's a Raider guy, played for the Raiders. He's a Bay Area guy. when they were out there. Obviously, they're in Vegas now, but and he had obviously a great run with Pete Carroll in Seattle. So him being around the building is always going to be good.
Another legendary older football coach has made some change. Bill Belichick, who we thought we were going to potentially catch up with today, obviously very busy. He has turned the field down in Carolina back to natural grass.
Oh, love that.
Is it Carolina or is it Kentucky bluegrass?
It's Kentucky bluegrass.
Is a style of grass. But you would think with Carolina, especially down in Cary where we were, and we were on that entire sports complex, the grass, they had the best grass that we'd ever been around. Bill said, what are we doing? Let's get grass back in here. Love the move by Michael Lombardi, Bill Belichick, and the new staff down there. I wonder why they ever got rid of it, to be honest, in North Carolina. How's the weather? Does it get bad?
It's money, man. You don't have to have that as gigantic of a ground crew, and you can host 1 million events on there. Like if you have a grass field, you can't be having graduations and different things all the time.
I wonder how many events they're actually hosting in that thing. Like that all sounds good in theory until you actually decide to use it or not use it. Love that they're getting back to grass. Love that that's one of Bill Belichick's first moves down there. He's like, hey, have you heard what everybody wants? Grass. You know why? Because the joints and everything. And also, it's much more beautiful. It's much more old school. It's what we should be about down here in North Carolina. Julius Peppers, what he play on? I'm sure Michael Lombardi. These guys all love the grass down here. Yeah. Then they got rid of the grass. Congrats to North Carolina for making that move. Congrats to Ohio State and Emeka Ibuka, who there is now clips coming out from the national championship game where big brains are on display.
Yes, we need to run a go ball on 29. Look at this. Look, go back. Look at the inside leverage he has and see if he's attacking them.
That's Christian Gray he's talking about, and obviously the game winner on 3rd and 11 was a go ball on 29 by Jeremiah Smith, where Christian Gray has inside leverage, and Jeremiah Smith runs to his feet to keep him going inside, and then drifts outside to create all the space that Will Howard was able to drop it into a bucket, and that's all she wrote. The Ohio State Buckeyes are national champions. I love that the players felt comfortable enough to not only have input, but also the coaches saying, yeah, let's do that, AJ. Good program over there.
Yeah, that's like when your players take ownership in the team and the program. That's what happens. Things like that. Also, who's holding this camera? Great shot in the moment, getting this thing too. This is what we're dealing with. All this now. It's cool.
Once again, social media teams can be an asset to your program, but they can also be a deficit to your program. That right there is wonderful. Emeka Ibuka heading to the NFL, right?
Yeah, he's going number 21 overall with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's what I'm saying. This is only upping his draft stock. Look at him next to Will Howard, obviously on the headphones, talking upstairs. But Ibuka just being like, hey, this guy is asking for us to go deep on him. And then in the biggest moment, they choose to do it. I love everything about that.
And then him not, you talk about taking ownership of the program, him not calling his own shot, him saying that for Jeremiah Smith. So that's dope to see that.
And Chip Kelly goes, yeah.
I like that.
It's a good call.
And then Will Howard comes out with a wheelbarrow. Drops it in. Did you hear Dan Orlovsky? He listed off 100 quarterbacks. None of them Will Howard. We'll be back tomorrow. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. Goodbye. Yeah, why? Is it because that Dr. Pepper commercial, you think?
Well, that's pretty recent. I think this goes back a ways. I mean, I feel like he's owned the Dr. Pepper commercial. At least his teammates in the comments have come out and he understands.
You know what's happened is everyone we've talked to, Dahn and DJ, they haven't watched the playoff run on tape yet. As soon as that happens, we saw it live and in person. Like as soon as they see it on tape, yeah.
I think that is the difference, is us being on the sideline. And first of all, you see the size. Like that's the thing. Will Howard, you're looking up at. Like he's big. He's an ox.
Yeah.
He is a big dude. First thing I did whenever I saw Drake May was like, he's much bigger than you could imagine. He is a large human. And why does that matter? Well, obviously being able to see over the offensive line is something, and yada, yada. Being able to take hits in the NFL. Normally, size is something that you would kind of relate to being able to be a little bit more durable. I'm not saying that he's going to get hurt, but if you're big, normally you're able to take a couple more shots than maybe if you're undersized or whatever the case is. But he made plays in the biggest moment on the biggest stages, and he was dropping balls into buckets all over the place. Had to read defenses too, had to keep everybody happy, had celebrations with everybody on his team. I like Will Howard. I continue to like Will Howard, and he's not playing down at the Senior Bowl, obviously, this week as it kicks off. And I know Daniel Jeremiah said, I'm bummed out he's not doing that. He's like, he had 4 Senior Bowls. And they were the playoffs. And he played his best ball. Go ahead and watch that. And I think as people continue to dive into the tape and maybe get a chance to meet him Good moxie. Seems to be very professional. Looks like a 13-year-old as well. So you wonder, why are people not holding him in as high regard as us? You're right, Tone. I think it's because they didn't get a chance to really see him in person. Once they do that, I think there will be a little bit of a change.
It's a long process, and Bo Nix, I think he was fringe. Bo Nix and Penix at the beginning of last year's draft season were both fringe 1 guys, and then once you dive into all the tape and stuff like that, both of them go, top 12? So I can see a similar thing happening for Will Howard, obviously, in this draft season.
What were your thoughts on Will Howard, D-Butch?
I thought he was pretty good. He had a great run during the playoffs, which we all saw. I think everything leading up to this season was holding him back still to this day. You kind of tab him as a, mid-round guy, not a guy that can drop back and make these throws down after down after down. But we saw him do it on the biggest stage. Now it's just going to be the draft process, how much money he makes himself. And it only takes one team to really, fall in love with you and say, hey, this is going to be our guy that we take a chance on in the first or second or third round if he slips.
2 teams is much better.
Yeah.
Boy, it's much better if 2 teams really like you. 1 team's all you need. All you need is 1 billionaire to like you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you got 2 of them, boy, that makes life a lot. Oh, speaking of it.
Yep.
Got a new color. I don't know what that means, but got a new color. It's
full body.
It's a baby blue one.
Used it this morning.
Whole body Dio. Both of them are whole body Dio.
This is the Marine and Blue Cypress versus the Shea Butter and Cedar.
Boom. Whole body Dio. Stop smelling like shit in public. Use Dove Men Care Whole Body Dio. Tackle body odor everywhere with Dove Men Care Whole Body Dio. Don't be like Dio and smell. Use Whole Body Dio and smell great. Don't smell like ass. Dove Men Care Whole Body Dio.
Spray that thing. Smell it.
This one?
Oh, it's so
I haven't
good.
smelled the baby blue one.
It's so
Smell
good.
Cypress?
Like an ocean breeze.
Yeah, like Poseidon's ocean. for all the pollution.
It does.
That one's got a little bit more sauce on it.
It is nice.
Yeah. That is a refreshing.
Fresh laundry.
That is a refreshing smell. It is like
Fresh laundry.
fresh laundry. So you don't even gotta wash your clothes. You can be a full-on dirtbag.
Well.
And then our friends at Dove Men Care, boom, Whole Body Dio will look out for you. Spray in the morning, spray at lunch, spray at night. You'll never smell like an asshole. Dove Men Care Whole Body Dio.
That's in the biz. It lasts all day.
Might as well be the only ones in the biz.
Yeah, seriously.
Suitable to use in your pits, your privates, or your feet.
That's right.
So if your taint smelling that good, go ahead and spray her Dahn. If your feet are yuck, spray them Dahn. And if your pits are yuck, spray them Dahn. With Dove Men Care, and they don't leave the white stains all over it either,
Oh, that's key. That is key.
They're not showing dong in the privates picture. Do you think you can spray it straight on your dong, or you got to be wearing underwear?
If your dong smells, you should go to a doctor. Okay? That's what Dove Men Care is saying.
You can rip it on the dong.
You've had a tough day today.
I'm just telling you, I'm pretty sure.
No,
it doesn't burn?
But I'm saying you've had a tough day today. Today was a tough day for you.
How so?
1:33 p.m. A lot happened for you today.
1:30. Yeah. Today was just like a weird, where am I?
I got good news for you, though. Yet another New England Patriots quarterback after the rookie year is in the Pro Bowl. Drake May has been named to the
What?
Wow. Congratulations.
Just like Mac Jones.
Christian Gonzalez.
After his rookie year. Hell yeah, stand over. You're going to stand out in the back.
Who else is in the
show? Can we show that? Can we show it? Is that who reported that?
What's that?
Who reported that?
It's being reported by Ari Miroff at My Sports Update.
Wow.
Remember, the quarterback is a position where they take the top 19 make it in to the Pro Bowl, because normally the good quarterbacks all say, I ain't doing that shit. What? I'm supposed to be playing catch with eggs and water balloons? I don't think so. So, it has certainly become something where more quarterbacks get a shot to shine, and Drake May is now in the Pro Bowl games and representing the New England Patriots at the most important position, right where he's supposed to be. We were wondering why he was at TGL.
Yeah.
Why is this guy at TGL? Well, he's down there in Florida because he's heading to Orlando, brother, to be a part of the Pro Bowl games. Congrats to you. You guys got it right with that draft pick to take Pro Bowler Drake May.
Yes, we did.
Why aren't you happy for Drake May? He's a Pro Bowler.
He beat out Josh and Burrow and Lamar.
And Anthony Richardson could have made it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson.
It's sweet. I'm pumped. Get down there, talk to the other Pro Bowlers. Whoever else is a Pro Bowler. I'm not sure who else made it, but Skylar Thompson or Mike White or whoever else is playing quarterback for the
Dan
AFC.
Orlovsky will be down there. He said he's going down today.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. I mean, I think if we're actually going to talk about these awards as if they mean something, like I don't think Drake May would even say like, hey, I played Pro Bowl football this year, but that's very awesome that he's a one-time
He's a
Pro
Pro
Bowler.
Bowler.
Yeah, he's a Pro Bowler. Just like Gardner Minshew and Mac Jones and Snoop Huntley before him.
Now, this is a good time to say they don't get any of their bonuses for being a Pro Bowler if you're a Pro Bowler alternate. So this literally does not mean you're an actual Pro Bowler, but you will be in a Pro Bowl uniform. So
it doesn't go on your accolades?
I think we will still say it is. But whenever it comes to contracts and things like that, if you're an alternate, it does not boost your Pro Bowl bonuses into things.
It's his rookie year, so it is cool. Like, I'm pumped for him. But, like, if this happens, like, year 3, then it's going to be like...
What if he takes over like Mac Jones? You remember Mac Jones?
Did the
all the
gritty.
way
He'll
through
be good
Las
for
Vegas?
Drake. Will be good for TV. He'll be good in all those games.
Yes, he will be because he can throw
Yeah.
He's
the
probably,
shit out.
he's probably already the favorite to win the three-legged race.
I hope.
I hope he wins the
three-legged race.
Dodgeball, he did beat
We're not talking
McKinney.
about him running with his dong. We're talking about him and a teammate.
Yeah.
Their legs. You were thinking he was going to have to tripod this thing. That ain't it. When they tie the legs together and they got a that thing. That's three-legged race.
Him and
I've never
Dan will
seen
get
that.
some good quality time together before maybe
The quarterback carnival.
also maybe Dano.
Is Dano going up to the staff up there in New England?
No, we hired our QB coach.
Who?
Thomas Brott, the Bears
OC.
former interim head coach.
Okay. All right. Everybody in the Thunderdome has a cold or some form of it. So we are going to end this show early, and we would like to say we apologize, but everybody needs to get healthy around here.
It's going around. You guys better watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know, AJ. We fucking got it. So
have it.
We've
why
been
don't you watch
watching,
it?
brother.
You've been watching.
Yeah, we know. Literally every fucking human in here watch it. We did watch, and we have felt too.
What is that? Why is that? Just the time of year?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah. The last 2 years, I've gotten whatever this is during the Super Bowl. So I'm very happy that it's the week beforehand, so I can maybe even enjoy the Super Bowl week. But yeah, I think it is a part of. I mean, our schedules are something. Schedules are something. They're certainly a part of it, maybe. But yeah, I don't know how this happens. I don't know what it is. Like I just high five somebody and then.
I mean, it was 0 degrees for 2 weeks.
This happens.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're back tomorrow 100% healthy.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we apologize for ending the show early. But we've done some really long shows.
We have.
Apologize for the moon landing info is what we really apologize for.
Well, I didn't
I mean,
say
what does that change? Does that change your life, Con, if it wasn't real?
How about this?
Changes history.
How about it? How about it?
Go on.
This is it.
Yeah.
Please make this.
Oh, it's a big shot.
Oh, my God.
Nixon.
Stretch it out a little
If
bit.
you're going to do this, you better do the fucking Anthony Richardson thing and go walk over and just lay that thing in the hoop. Because this is a certainty. Okay, this isn't like, did we or did we not? I'm going to throw, the universe has already told us that this happened.
But has it?
Yeah.
We have evidence.
It has.
Man, that was good.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow.
Again.
Yep. Shocker.
That looks like the moon to me. So I'm going to go with it. We
done
did
deal.
it. We went to the moon.
How's the flag blow?
Well, there's actually an absence of gravity, so it's actually just being.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's not blowing.
Unless there's a.
Yeah, wouldn't it be still and stiff?
They brought back moon rocks and stuff. What about the moon rocks and the dust they brought back?
Explain
Oh,
that.
yeah, you're right. I forgot
That's real.
When I went Bigfoot hunting, I saw that guy. He brought me back hair of the Bigfoot. That's what I believe.
The dust really sells me.
Moon dust?
Yeah, dust.
Moon dust.
Can't we zoom in on the moon and still see the stuff we left up there?
Yeah.
No, it's made of cheese.
See? The moon's not even a rock.
We need one of these to go in. You hear me?
It's over for me, brother.
No, what if this goes in?
You already did it.
It's a universe ball. Still.
Universe doesn't speak.
Yes, it does through these balls.
Not multiple times. The first one is always the ball.
Am I even trying?
That's what I'm wondering.
I mean,
you know the truth.
I mean,
3 misses.
You normally fire that fucking pigskin.
What's the universe say about 3 misses?
I was letting the universe decide.
Oh, the 3 misses? Those were Russia, China, and whoever else was trying to get to the moon.
Cuba?
Oh.
That's the worst possible scenario.
Ball don't lie.
No, I mean, you're not trying because you know this is just a silly game to be playing or something that already happened.
It is silly.
It's a hard throw, though, too. Let's not remember that or forget that.
It ain't hard to get it to the moon.
The in and outs make me.
The slingshot on the way home is crazy to think.
That's basic telemetry, brother.
Super basic.
Guess you've never seen Armageddon.
Yeah, or Hidden Figures.
Who was the first person to do that, though? Who's the first person to have the idea? Yeah, we're going to slingshot and use the gravity and all that and sling it back.
Read a book.
Galileo.
One time.
Oh, I know who we recruited. Believe me, I know that.
Oh, do you?
All right.
Yeah.
Graveyard.
Got sent this by a man named Ari Gold because he's just a little Chihuahua baby dog. And he say, never want me to forget it. Baby dog, you'll be right there as the big dog does his job. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice might change your life. Wash your hands.
Yes.
And study the moon a little bit because America went there.
I don't know if there's a point, but
we're in this thing together. Team on me. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3. Team. Goodbye.